The college football experience week 11 preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with that promo code TCE SGPN. You get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Yes. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and NFL with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Week 11 preview picks. Preview and picks. All right. DFS is coming later in the week.
YouTube.com. Long enough as it is.
YouTube.com/the college experience. Hop on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button because we got a fire week upon us. And they just announced some horrible rankings, and we will talk all about it. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
That is the way I feel like it when I see this playoff bullshit. I didn't even watch the show. All right. I stayed. I got to be honest. I forgot it was election day. Till some schmuck at Walgreens told me, "How's your election day going?" I said, "You talking?"
I got Ball State. Right.
Yeah. What would you do?
Where's your bonus sticker?
What does he say in Office Space? He's like, "What would you do if you had $1 million?" I'll tell you what I'd do. 2 MAC games at the same time. All right, let's go. We got MACtion going on right now, folks. I am joined by my co-host. He's all decked out in Duke's gear. JMU West, perhaps. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Well.
Oh yeah. Let's get it going, buddy.
Woo.
Let's really do it. Let's get it going.
We got the results that not that we wanted, but it is finally some real rankings that we can chew on that actually matter. So I do feel like we need to chew on them and digest them immediately.
Yeah, I mean yeah. I mean, I knew it was going to be a sham, and they delivered. Well, it was a sham.
I got the brain man cold, but they're.
We are also joined by third man in the booth, the DFS god himself. He did get out and gamble today. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lot giving, former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's going on, guys?
I mean, shall we start with, let's just go.
You can't win. You can't win. You can't win.
And that's the way. Look, if you're an Indiana Hoosier fan,
you can't win.
You can win all you want on the field.
Right. And the polls, not so much.
I mean, if you're BYU,
you can't win.
If you're BYU, you go undefeated the whole season.
You can't win.
You know, who else? What if you're Washington State?
You can't win.
What else do we got here? Right. I feel like if you're Iowa State,
You can't win.
If you're Army,
yeah. If you're Army,
You can't win.
any others? Am I forgetting Patty C right now?
Anybody not in the SEC, Big Ten, or Notre Dame?
Pittsburgh, SMU,
Miami. Oh yeah. If you're Miami,
You can't win.
if you're SMU,
You can't win.
if you're Pat Narduzzi and Pitt,
You can't win.
Army
This is
Black
gonna be-
Knights.
yeah, the whole episode.
Yeah.
We got that.
You
Yeah.
can't win.
With the not, at least we have a 12-team playoff this year, but
The fact that the projections are 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, 1 ACC, 1 Big 12, kind of not what we were hoping for here.
You know, I hate to be right, but that's what I was expecting.
it's just such a joke. It's just such a sham because I find it. So NIL and transfer portal has made this. I saw Brad Powers tweeting out his thing of like, you know, to key on this year's parity. He goes, if you're going to put like Ohio State at number 1, which he might have in his power rankings, said they beaten Oregon. But he said, I think he quoted both. And then he said, to give you an idea, against any of the past decades national champs, they'd be a double-digit dog. The parity of college football is everywhere, right? And then you get this.
Yeah.
You get this, and it's just saying like they're trying. The powers are trying. It's like Danny Cannell did a video also on this, and I thought it was accurate. It's like the powers are trying to stay the powers, just on sheer bullshit.
I think it's worse than ever right now in terms of like pushing them upwards. Noah, is there any chance that you can get the college football playoff rankings on the screen? Because if we have time for this, Colby, maybe at least 1 or 2 of these teams we can look at, but preferably a few of them. I want to see how many times a team from the Big Ten or the SEC has the same record or worse than the other conferences, and are given a preferential position in the poll versus the opposite. I'm pretty sure there aren't many ACC or Big 12 teams that have the same record as any SEC team and are not ranked lower than them.
Well, I mean, I think we should start off with Indiana because
I actually
they're
think
in the Big Ten.
One team got screwed more so than Indiana, and
it's
team
BYU.
Right, BYU.
Yeah,
BYU is undefeated. They have wins over, according to the college football rankings, they beat the number 13 SMU and they beat the number 19 K-State. So you can't
and
say.
Where's
like
Iowa State? Oh, they haven't played Iowa State yet, but okay.
They don't play Iowa State.
Yeah.
So they've beaten 2 teams in the top 19, which is, I'm sure, is probably just as good as anybody else. And they're undefeated. So tell me why BYU shouldn't be, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
I would think that Oregon, Miami, and BYU would be your top 3. And I'm sorry, maybe Indiana.
Well, having Ohio State at number 2 is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 1 play away from potentially being a 2-loss team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
if
true.
Penn State scores at the 1,
it's at least going to overtime.
yeah.
And you could argue if Penn State doesn't need a miracle comeback against USC, they're a 2-loss team.
having Penn State and Tennessee above Indiana and BYU is the funniest fucking shit of all time.
That's the most shameless. I agree with you. Those 2 being ranked above.
Texas too. I mean, Texas too. What is Texas's best win?
Less so Tennessee. I mean, less so Penn State rather. More so Tennessee. Tennessee lost to a very kind of mediocre Arkansas team, and then Indiana and BYU have very good wins and are undefeated. Why?
Well,
why is Tennessee above? Tennessee has 1 decent win. It's Alabama.
I mean, to me, even worse is Ohio State, and so Ohio State played nobody in the non-con, right? They much like Indiana, very similar.
Yeah,
right?
phoned it in. Yeah.
But they're in the same conference, so like, I just think this is hilarious. Ohio State played Michigan State won 38-7 at Michigan State. Indiana played at Michigan State and won 47-10. Right. So bigger win there for Indiana. They both played Nebraska at their home stadium. Nebraska, Indiana beats 56-7. Ohio State beats 21-17. Oh, and then Ohio State has this thing called a loss. Oh my God. I mean, at least we have a 12-team playoff because I mean, we just need it to be bigger already. We got to go to 32 because you can see how jaded it is right now.
The other thing I want to mention is the 2 lost teams. They are Alabama at 11, Texas A&M at 14, LSU at 15, Ole Miss at 16. Other than Bama beating Wisconsin out of conference, which isn't that big of a deal, why are these 2 ranked teams? And you notice that the highest 2 ranked teams are all from the SEC.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2 lost teams, not 2 ranked teams, 2 lost teams. So there's so many ways you can pick apart this. And every time you do, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah. Once again, if you were to identify specific metrics to say that the committee is, preferring in this particular year, which the fact that it varies from year to year is stupid enough. But if you say it's, how they look or, how many losses or what their best quality win, best quality losses, all of that is, there are mixed results, right? There's no consistency if you try and apply those standards to the rankings. But if you apply the standard of we value SEC and Big Ten wins and we think those teams are just better, then that works out perfectly. That's the metric that matches perfectly with what we're seeing. If you try and apply any other metric, it's inconsistent.
Not true, because Indiana's undefeated and Ohio State lost.
Well, that's true. The power programs in the Big Ten and the SEC.
That's even more insulting. If you're a Big Ten team and you're undefeated, you're like, wait, what? I mean, let's be honest. Tennessee has a loss to an Arkansas team that's average at best. And Tennessee's non-con was NC State, Chattanooga, UTEP, and Kent State. It's in the same as Indiana's level.
Is Tennessee's non-conference, say it again?
UTEP, who might be the worst team member because Middle Tennessee beat them last week. NC Nick was correct about that. I think they're power ranked 134 right now. UTEP is. Kent State. Right? Kent State might be the only team that you could argue 134 because they're 133. So they played the 2 worst teams in college football, an FCS and then an NC State team that is somehow going to make a bowl, even though they're horrible. I mean, NC State's what, 4-4, something like that.
They did slap NC State, so give them a little credit for that. Let's not be like.
But NC State is one of the worst teams in the ACC.
Yeah, they were not very good.
Wake Forest beat NC State.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, I think Tennessee being ranked ahead of Indiana and BYU is a complete farce. It's a complete slap in the face, and it is exactly what the committee is trying to do to prop up early on. And look, fucking Joey Galloway is Kirk Herbstreit, as much as he tries to act like he's not, right? Well, I don't know if it was Joey Galloway. No, I think actually Joey Galloway was.
So you're just shitting on Joey Galloway? I don't know if it was Joey Galloway.
Well, maybe it wasn't. One of those dudes in there was saying that at the end of the day. I didn't watch it.
I don't watch that shit. Yeah.
Okay. It'll work itself out. You have the chance to win. You have the chance. No.
Oh, they keep selling you on that. Why'd we go to 12? Because the corruption was so bad. Yeah. And now we see it so corrupt. We're going to have to go to, that's why 12 was, I was never happy with 12. Now I was happier with 12 than 4, but I was never content on 12. 12 still a complete sham to me.
One other thing I found interesting, if I can just bring this up, is that the Big Ten has 4 teams in the top 8, but 0 from 9 to 25. If it was that strong of a conference, you'd have more depth after being top heavy. My question is, are all 4 of those teams basically a lock to get into the playoffs? Because
I have less of a problem with the Big Ten being in there and more of a problem with the SEC.
Well, I'd be surprised if the Big Ten only gets 3. So are those teams? I mean, obviously if they lose 3 straight or something, they're not going to be in there. But realistically speaking, are all 4 of those teams basically locked in? Because I would say,
I think so, unless they lose. unless they lose again. But if chalk holds, and I guess that would include Ohio State beating Indiana. But Ohio State with 2 losses, if Indiana beats them straight up, and their losses to
if
I think
Indiana
all
loses,
I think all 4 of those could afford one more loss and still be good.
yes,
probably,
but if Indiana loses to Michigan and Ohio State, they could be out because their schedule.
if they lose twice.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is if they all finish with 1 loss, presumably, whoever goes to maybe Oregon can go undefeated and Ohio State has 2 losses. If they're 11-2, even if Ohio State loses to Indiana and goes 10-2, they're probably in just because both of their losses will be to like undefeated Oregon and Indiana. So yeah, Ohio State probably still gets in. I think all 4 of those teams are locks as long as they don't, take an upset.
I guess if for some reason, if Indiana isn't a lock and if they dropped out, their spot is probably going to be taken by an SEC team.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the matchups. I thought, I think I have it here. So right now, if the season ended right now, it would be the first round. Indiana would be at Tennessee for some reason. Boise State would be at Ohio State. Notre Dame would be at Penn State, which would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Alabama would be at Texas.
So fun games. I mean, no matter what, the college football playoff is going to produce great games. That's a great.
I'd still like an explanation since we're calling out everything. I'd like an explanation on Notre Dame.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
How is Notre Dame ahead of Washington State?
Notre Dame should probably be out of the fucking playoff right now.
Washington State
SMU should be ahead of Notre Dame.
Yeah, and Washington State. Both those teams should be ahead of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's best win is A&M, who lost again, by the way. And
but they're
Pittsburgh
still ranked
should
number
be ahead
14. So they're propping up Notre Dame's win.
On what? Who have they beat? Rice beat Navy. Rice just beat Navy. Washington State's only loss is to a team in the field on their home turf, right? Boise State's in. Washington State beat Texas Tech. Is still alive to win the Big 12 with a huge game this weekend that might propel them into the Big 12 championship, right? Who else did they beat? Washington, who just beat USC. What are we doing here?
I got one more for you.
Yeah.
I got one more for you. Boise being ranked at 12, Ohio State being ranked at 2. Okay. They both went to Autzen, right?
Yes. Boise even played better, in my opinion.
Yeah. Boise probably had a higher percentage. Someone can go look up the game control or whatever thing ESPN does, with 5 minutes left in that game. And I would bet that Boise had a better chance to win than Ohio State against Oregon on their home field. So yeah, and that's the only result. And what of Ohio State? Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State. Okay, the Iowa win was good, but it was at home. And then Nebraska at home and at Penn State. Penn State on the road is really the only quality win they have the entire year. I guess beating Iowa at home is also somewhat quality. But for Boise State, they don't really have a quality win except Washington State.
Like, UNLV, they beat the shit out of Washington State. They beat UNLV. They beat Georgia Southern, who's probably going to win the Sun Belt.
Actually, that's true. Georgia Southern. Yeah, that's true. So, and then, on the road against Oregon. The fact that they're 10 spots lower than Ohio, that's a joke. That's a fucking joke, because the schedules aren't that different. And the only head-to-head, or I guess common opponent they played pretty comparably against. So on that, and both of those teams showed up for that game knowing that was their biggest test of the season. So it's not like, you can play the I was asleep at the wheel card.
Cam
both showed.
Cam's in there saying, who has Indiana beaten? I'll say the same as who's Miami, Florida beat then. If you're going to rank Miami at 4, they don't have any wins. And they have, if anything, they have a lot of phony wins, like as far as barely getting by. Indiana has blown out everybody they've faced. And if you're
who's Penn State beaten?
Yeah. What's Penn State's best win?
Who has been Penn State beaten?
Illinois? USC?
Yeah. I mean, those teams aren't good.
No, they're average.
They're average. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, both of those are probably better than, I don't know what Indiana's best win is off the top of my head. I could probably pull
No,
that
but
up for you.
Indiana, the difference is
They
Penn
whooped
State.
everyone's ass.
Penn State got very fortunate to beat Bowling Green, to beat USC.
I'll give you a decent.
Yeah.
I'll give you 3 decent wins. Okay, and actually, I'll give you 4. Whooping the hell out of UCLA on the road. They traveled 2 time zones and won that game by over 4 touchdowns. Destroying Nebraska. Okay, Ohio State beat Nebraska by what? 4 points in the last.
Losing in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
yeah, and Indiana beat them by 7 touchdowns. Well, they beat Washington by 2 touchdowns, and they beat Michigan State. What was the comparable opponent between? What did Ohio State do against Michigan State? Ohio State won by 30.
Indiana
31,
won by more.
Won by 37. Fuck off! Indiana should be number 1. I don't know, but they should be pretty high.
Who has Texas beaten?
Nobody. Vanderbilt's their best win.
Right. So you can't give Indiana. Yeah, I agree. They haven't beaten anybody either, but they're undefeated. And teams above them that have 1 loss also haven't beaten anybody.
Yeah, several teams. Miami. What is Miami's best win?
Louisville?
Yeah.
Florida?
No, it's got to be Louisville at 5 and what are they? 5-3, right? So I mean, shit. I feel like Indiana's got something that's like that. I just doesn't. Their logic makes no sense, and it's insulting to anyone that watches the sport like we
insulting.
do. Yeah, it's like
genuinely insulting.
Anyway, we got to carry on, but I do, since we are bringing up news, I'd like to call out as we got Ball State down to the 1 yard line right now. Ball State fighting tough. We got MACtion college football. We got college basketball on. I did want to touch base on. Well, first you have, we'll talk about Texas in a second again, but I let me see if I can find the correct clip to describe the West Virginia Mountaineers. I'll just say this: when it comes to the West Virginia Mountaineers, Moneyline Mac, if you're listening to this, they're really a big pile of shit. All right, and this sums them up pretty damn well, in my opinion. Here we go.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
West Virginia paid East Carolina 6 figures to not play football in Greenville, North Carolina. It was announced today. Yeah. West Virginia might be a little scared of these Pirates, huh? Mac, I would love your answer here. I know there's no microphone in front of you, but I thought that was somewhat interesting, especially considering the last time you went to Greenville as a top 10 team, I believe you lost. So would love to know why the West Virginia Mountaineers are such a pussy fucking team. All right. They are a pussy team. They are afraid to play East Carolina. All right. And you guys can try to be all tough all you want, but you're a pussy fucking team. And those are the facts.
I got a feeling you guys will be talking about this later tonight on the college basketball.
Yes. Your thoughts though, NC Nick.
I mean, this happens all the time, take the paycheck and put it to that boneyard collective and hire yourself a better coach.
What do you mean? We went Mike Houston. We would beat West Virginia.
Potentially.
Yeah. I mean, they lost the Navy, right?
I got to look something up real quick. I want to look up that all-time series. I'm almost there.
Dub V has owned it, but not in Greenville.
19-3. 19-3.
Not in Greenville.
All right. Let me look up the home and home there. In Greenville, yeah, that's true. ECU got the last one, which is back in 2008. In Charlotte, they got them, and so and the other one in Greenville. So the 3 wins have all come in Greenville. However, West Virginia has also won in Greenville 1, 2, 3, 4.
But not
5.
since 1988, buddy.
No, they got him in 2006
In Greenville?
and 2003.
How do I not remember 2006 them getting him in Greenville?
And then 88. Yeah. Either way, these teams should be playing each other. If we can arrange for what would you say the common? I mean, these are drunk schools, right? I mean, just party schools.
They're party schools.
Party schools. Party schools should play each other a lot.
To Matt Jones's point, I do like Virginia Tech at ECU better than West Virginia at ECU, but I like both of them.
Yeah,
it's the same
both
flavor.
fit. Just don't be pussy though. You put it on the schedule. Don't be pussy. They're probably looking at Signetti, but Signetti had nothing to do with canceling Louisville. All right, that was prior to him. All right.
Let me ask you this: can West Virginia pull Signetti away from Indiana after this year, knowing that his pops was a West Virginia coach for a long time, right?
No, in Indiana, they're about to build a statue for him.
Yeah, I don't think you leave the Big Ten for anything other than maybe the SEC.
Maybe not, but I think underestimate the loyalty of West Virginia folk. I think when Mama comes calling at West Virginia, Rich Rod left. So
when Mountain Mama comes calling,
you come a running.
Yeah, well, they're still cowards for canceling. All right, let's get into this. We got slides. We got a whole show we're doing, folks. Want to tell you that the college football experience. Well, first off, college basketball is back, and if you haven't already subscribed, get on over there to the college basketball experience for their daily picks podcast, breaking it all down. Myself, Noah Beanick, Moneyline Mac, with some guests always coming on. We talk every single college basketball game of the entire season. Get on over there. We did a fucking 5-hour show, I feel like, the other day. Get on over there. And also, thanks for always tuning into the college football experience. If you can head over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, that can really help us. So only you can help prevent corporate gambling from taking over. All right, let's go. We got MACtion tomorrow, folks. Let's get into this. Hey, Beanick, there we go. Northern Illinois is heading to Kalamazoo. Check out Waldo's for the liquor pitches on a nice Wednesday night. Whew. Got to get over there. This game goes back to 1950. Northern Illinois laying 1.5. I think Western Michigan's going to beat them because Northern Illinois, it's just another thing in the Notre Dame thing. It's like they completely ignore how bad Northern Illinois has been since then. But hey, whatever they want to tell themselves. But no, I think Western Michigan's better than Northern Illinois. And I think especially in Kalamazoo, if this was in DeKalb, maybe I would lean Huskies, but I'm going to go with Western Michigan here. But back to your point, Patty C, that's another thing though. Like they look at the Northern Illinois loss as okay. Right. And they don't penalize them from Northern Illinois then looking average in MAC play. Meanwhile, Boise gets judged by them playing Wyoming and Utah State. And you know what I mean? Like if they use that same logic that they're helping Notre Dame with for Northern Illinois.
Where is Northern Illinois? Where is Notre Dame ranked?
Oh, that was 11. Is that what it was?
11.
Beanick, I think. Was that 11?
10.
10. and Boise's at 12. Yeah. Yeah. It's stupid. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Boise lost to Oregon and almost beat them.
Not only that, it is just they're basically saying like they're ignoring what Northern Illinois. They're just completely not looking at what Northern Illinois does.
Northern Illinois currently 1-3. Currently 1-3 in MAC play. Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Which, if I could bring it back to this game here, that's why I think this line stinks. I mean, Northern Illinois has lost 2 in a row. Western Michigan has won 4 in a row. They start 4-0 in MAC play. Granted, Western Michigan hasn't. They played the bottom of the conference basically so far. But I don't understand this line. Why Western Michigan's a home dog? I'm still going to take them because I think they're the better team. But I'd be a little wary about betting this. Don't you think it stinks?
Maybe a little bit, but I still think like Northern Illinois is.
Are Are they getting love still just from beating Notre Dame?
I think that they could be doing that still, and I also think Western Michigan might be undervalued by Vegas lately. So that might be the logic. I'm on the Broncos. Patty?
I want to look up one other thing, but there is one stat that stands out. Comparable offensive production, but Northern Illinois, the number 6 yardage defense in the nation, whereas Western Michigan, the number 118 yardage defense in the nation. So there is a huge statistical disparity in Northern Illinois' favor. However, like you said, Western Michigan's winners of 4 in a row. There is a tough job here where Western Michigan went to Ball State and won by 3. I want to say within a couple weeks of that, maybe even 1 week of that, Northern Illinois went to Ball State and lost by 2. Can you take away a lot from that? Probably not. I think they're probably pretty evenly matched. I think you guys are right that Northern Illinois is getting the Notre Dame love. I think you're right. I think Western Michigan's the play here at home.
Let's go. Also, we got other MACtion going on Wednesday night. The Bobcats are heading into Kent, Ohio, to Dick Stadium, where the college football playoff committee, they've honored Kent State as a worthy opponent when they went into Knoxville and gave up 77, I think, or whatever it was. But this goes back to 1936. Ohio's laying 19, and I will lay it. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, the home dog and MACtion play can be attractive, but not when it's this year's or last year's Kent State. I just don't see how they keep it close. I'm on a ride with the Bobcats too.
Patty?
Well, Kent State is probably comparable to who is that loss? I'm missing it right now. Akron. Okay, let's assume Akron and Kent.
Akron's better.
Akron's a lot better.
Akron's probably a lot better. Kent State beat them at home by 20. Akron or Kent State on the road. Maybe the road effect has a little bit of a
Kent
issue
State
there.
beat who?
Or Ohio rather beat Akron by 20 at home. Yeah. Going on the road to Kent State. Even still, I'm inclined to go with Ohio here. So yeah, let's take the Bobcats.
Let's go. Let's jump over to Thursday's action. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog is one of the biggest venues for all the sports, NFL, college football, college hoops, now that it's back, CFL action, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. Boost Uber now is upon us, which means you're getting a spooky, spooky amount of profit boost and much more as well. And you can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. So what are you doing, folks? Sign up. Actually, before sign up, and when you do, use the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. NC Nick, I want to ask you about one here.
What you got?
Let's go to let's go to the likes of that Jackson Dart. Taking on Ole Miss, obviously playing the Georgia Bulldogs, and am I seeing over higher or lower a halving or a passing touchdown, a half passing touchdown? How about
go ahead?
How about Braden Bennett for Coastal Carolina? Higher or lower 65.5 rushing yards against App State.
I'm going to say lower, even though App State's rush defense sucks, because I know Coastal likes to share the rock in the running game. I'm going to say lower, but that's not one of my favorite plays. I'll say that because.
All right. What about Joey Aguilar? Higher or lower 261.5 passing yards.
I like the higher on that. I think there's going to be some points scored in Conway on Thursday night.
How many passing yards was it?
That was what did I say? 261.5, I believe.
261. App averaging only 226. Oh, that's their defense. I'm looking at the wrong fucking thing. Never mind. So you got Joey Aguilar hitting over 261. So you see a little shootout there in Conway.
Yes, yes. Rivalry games. So look, folks, get on over there, sign up. Once again, promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back, and that's another thing when I put these slides together. This is kind of like a mini rivalry week. You know, I feel like there's some heat on the rivalry path here. Thursday,
Ohio and Kent State particularly got a lot of bad blood.
No, I'm just saying when I put together all the slides,
the top and bottom.
Yes.
Mini rivalries here. I like it.
And I think it starts right here with App State and Coastal Carolina. The beach against the mountains. NC Nick, notorious for going to these outings. It dawned on me that Coastal hired the wrong Tim Beck. There should be a movie about this. You know, Tim Beck, the offense coordinator for Vandy that was with New Mexico State. He was with Jamie Chadwell at Coastal at one point. So I wonder if they went to hire Tim Beck and looked up the wrong Tim Beck and got the NC State one and then said, oh shit. After the fact, they already had the press conference and they're like, I guess we just run with him.
Well, that hire kind of came out of the blue. I mean, yes, he's in the Carolinas, but it wasn't like the NC State offense was, such a great offense that, he needed a promotion. So maybe you're onto something.
I think I'm onto something here. Anyway, Coastal's laying 1. I can't lay it. Give me App. I know they stormed the last time they played this game down there at Brooks Stadium, but I think App is still contending. They played Georgia Southern to end the season, 100 miles of hate there, but or not 100 miles of hate. Was it deeper than hate? Deeper than hate. Give me the Mountaineers to come on that teal turf and get it done. I think they're the better football team. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna go to Coastal. They've won 2 in a row in Conway in the series. App State on the road this year. Other than that ECU squeaker, they've been god awful on the road. Even though Coastal struggling of late, lost 3 in a row, lost 4 out of 5. I think it's kind of a get right hot spot at home against a rival. They're going to get up for it, and I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, 3802 saying one of my favorite matchups of the year. And Jeff Sharp, shout out to Jeff, says this show has brought me to appreciate small conference teams much more than I ever did. Well, hey, I appreciate that comment because, that's what we set out to do. I mean, we love college football, but we also think part of what makes it so great is that anybody can start a college football team and take it wherever they want. Take a look at Liberty. They were D3 like 20, 30 years ago. And that's part of the fun is the fact that you don't have to wait, on trying to get an NFL owner. They won't let me on the board. No, anybody can just start a football program and just religious institutions, doesn't make a difference. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
If you guys want to support an ultimate ground roots program that has a ton of potential, join us on this George Mason train. That is Nick's alma mater. It is the largest state institution in Virginia by enrollment, 39,000 students. And we're all Northern Virginia natives, and they don't have a fucking football team. It's bigger than Virginia Tech. It's bigger than UVA. It's bigger than JMU, and yet no football. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But seriously, if you do want to, if you're fed up with the Big Ten and the SEC running shit, dive into some Sun Belt, dive into some Mountain West. Colby will tell you dive into the FCS. But I mean, we love it all here. But I do like small town college football.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic. Shout out to Mason who agrees. He never watched those games until. Well, I'm glad that we could be the catalyst in this movement to watch. Because I mean, come on, guy. That's to me, the deeper you fall into college football, there's layers of this. You know what I mean? That's what's so great about the sport.
Yeah, if you're willing to like see or if you're open to seeing the sexiness of the game, then the kind of lower it goes, the more awesome it is.
Yeah, and
there's less bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. Jamie Hove in the chat saying, how ridiculous is it that Darryl Green was their assistant athletic director at George Mason and they didn't have a football team? Well, their athletic director was his teammate on the Redskins, safety Brad Edwards, a South Carolina Gamecock grad, and they didn't have a football team. And it's just an unbelievable story. Like they need to get a football team going. Tweet it out. Do yourself a solid. Tweet it out or Facebook it out, whatever the fuck.
It hurts. Yeah. Anyway, let me throw my 2 cents in on this. Florida Atlantic. No, we're going Coastal App State. App State is significantly better offense. If I'm not mistaken, what do we got? App at 32, Coastal at 72. Both horrific defensively. Coastal at 116, App at 117. And that goes, hand in hand with the offensive output of the quarterbacks. Joey McGuire, 13th in the nation in yards per game played, yards game per played. And who is Coastal's quarterback? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name. If I could type, I would get it.
Who's Coastal's quarterback?
Well, they got a couple of them.
He's from Ashburn, Virginia.
Yeah.
Ethan Vasco.
Yeah.
Third in the nation in pass yards per completion. So they like to throw the ball down the field, which, is not what I would expect of a cha-cha-cha offense. But either way, I agree with Nick. Maybe play the over 62.5. Maybe they both offenses explode. But look, I think App is just playing a lot better right now. So I gotta roll App State to cover. Oh, they're dogs. They're 1-point dogs. So yeah, let's go App.
Nick, where does this go on new rivalries? Is this one of the best new college football rivalries?
I can tell you. So I've just been to the game in Conway. I've never been to this game in App, even though I've seen lots of game in Boone or at Boone. And it's for real. Those two fan bases do not like each other, and they have played some very fun games the last few years. It is definitely a budding rivalry.
Yeah. I mean, it's to me one of the better that has emerged recently. So, same night, Greenville, North Carolina. Caden Hauser getting the start for ECU at quarterback as they are laying 7.5 in G Vegas against Tom Herman and Florida Atlantic. I mean, first off, it's about time ECU host a weekday game. I feel like back in the 90s and 2000s, it was like a regular thing. Steve Logan sought after those things. And speaking of Steve Logan,
because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina. You don't come to East Carolina. You don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
lock it up.
Prime time at the pick.
Lock it up. Because, buddy, may I tell you something? I know you guys are sitting over there. You're talking trash. Well, we fired Mike Houston. Right? But when I look at this thing, Army and North Texas play this week. Memphis already has 2 losses because they lost last week. Army could lose to North Texas.
What are you suggesting here?
I'm saying ECU's remaining schedule.
You're stupid. Don't even continue this thought.
Really? Hold on. You should really think about this.
They beat Temple, and all of a sudden they're gonna go on a run.
Actually, you're right.
The remaining schedule is Florida Atlantic in Greenville, at Tulsa, at North Texas, home to Navy.
Let's not skip over at North Texas and home to Navy as easy wins. Yes,
Navy just lost to Rice.
True. Winnable. Winnable. Yeah.
Yes. I'm just saying.
What would that put them in conference if they ran the table here?
Well, right now we're tied. We're tied for 3rd. So,
But Liberty's in the non-con. You guys have what? App State is non-con.
Non-con. Yeah.
So you have 2. Yeah, maybe you're right.
You think they can play in the championship game? I mean, because right now Army is 6-0 in conference and Tulane's 5-0 in conference.
Yes, but Army is at North Texas right now. North Texas is in the mix. ECU plays North Texas. So if Army loses to North Texas this week,
UTSA is looking better too.
Yes, and Army plays UTSA.
But Army beat ECU straight up, so they're not getting the tiebreaker. Skip Army, and I think was it Tulane's the other one? Who does Tulane have left? I know they have Navy.
They have Memphis. They have Memphis. Yeah,
that could be 2 losses.
Win 2 more games. Win 3 in a row, and then we'll talk about that.
We're alive. We're alive. That's all I'm saying.
Premature.
That's a crowbar. That's a crowbar for Colby.
I kind of agree, though. I'm going to take ECU. I mean, you're looking at, first off, I've been saying fade Fancher the whole season, but FAU's coming off a game against their rival USF, where I don't know what you're laughing at over there, but second half they get outscored 37-7. I don't see how FAU rebounds from that. I don't know about Herman anymore. I think the team's kind of, folding up shop here. I'm gonna take ECU.
Well, Herman, his whole team left in the portal. Half of them are at Colorado. Yeah, ECU's the play. Let's go.
I'll tell you what. Houston got fired after what? The Charlotte game?
No, they're 1-0 without him.
So the one game bump is over.
Honestly, they played pretty well against Army, so maybe the one game bump is over. The bye week hosting Florida Atlantic, but then you have to contend with the hook. I'll still lean ECU, but I don't feel great about it. I'll cock to ECU. My cock is pointed in ECU's direction. So,
a lot of people have cocked at ECU. Look, will Tom Herman get another year? I think he will. I think he'll get one more year.
Yeah, you got a good enough name there.
Yeah. Moving to Friday, the Cal Golden Bears are heading to Winston-Salem. There was rumblings that myself and NC Nick would be there, but he's teetered off that. And I didn't adjust the line here. That is not the correct line. Wake is laying 7. I'm sorry. Cal is laying 7. His first ever matchup. Give me Wake +7. Sprinkle that money line. Dave Clawson is close to being a bowl eligible team. This is just the type of game that Cal has. That the Cal whole team is saying, "Who are we playing? Who the fuck's Wake Forest?" NC Nick, you coming?
I am going to go with the home dog here in Wake Forest. I mean, Cal coming cross country, even if they had a bye week last week, it's still a long travel spot. And Cal's 0-4 in ACC play by a combined 9 points, which is crazy. But that tells you that
insane.
It tells you that they're playing everybody close, though. So I like the home dog on Friday night. I'm with you,
Patty.
They are finding a way to lose, whether at home or away. Their 2 home losses are by a combined 2 points against Miami and NC State. And obviously losing close at Florida State and Pitt. The spread is 7.5?
No, 7. Flat 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 7. Yeah, it's a long trip. Give me Wake.
Anyone locking this with me?
Nah.
Cowards.
Cal's a much better team than Wake. Are we all
Wake,
on board
Wake
with that?
beat NC State. Let's do a tuck job here, Petty C. Wake beat NC State. NC State beat Cal.
Okay, and those were both very close games, and Wake kind of needed a miracle to come back against. But where was that Wake NC State game? That was on the road for Wake. That was at home for Cal. All right, Tuck job suggests you're right, but
yes.
So I took Wake, but I do think Cal's a better team. Let's be honest.
All right. Well, I got another lock here at the Liberty Bowl. Is Ryan Silverhairs look, they shouldn't have re-upped this contract, but they did. It's too late now. The Rice Owls just had a huge win in a questionable weather delay, very questionable weather delay, where the University of Houston, who's 4.5 miles away, was playing their game at the same exact time. They just partied. I saw the locker room stuff. They're super excited to get the interim head coach a win there. I forget his name. And now they got to go to the Liberty Bowl. Memphis coming off that tough loss there to UTSA. I think Memphis rights the ship here. I'm going to lay the 9 with the Tigers. NC Nick?
I disagree. I'm going to take Rice. Rice is playing better ball. Go back a couple weeks when they were tied with Tulane in the fourth quarter, going into the fourth quarter. And now they've won a couple, beating UTSA and Navy. And meanwhile, Memphis just isn't pulling away from opponents. And to lose to UTSA, Memphis, they're not looking the part. It seems like they play everybody close too. So I'm going to take Rice in the points here.
Patty?
9 at home. It makes sense. Does the Friday night aspect of it have any impact? Do you think that helps Memphis? Do you think that helps Rice at all? I don't know. I'm just scraping to get
nationally televised game. I think that does help Memphis. Everyone's going to be there at the Peabody having mint juleps before the game. All their alumni. Let's go.
I mean, they whooped the crap out of USF a few weeks back. Memphis did, and then they handled, I guess, a decent North Texas team. The close win against Charlotte on homecoming, a little concerning, and then obviously, but UTSA is getting it going in the right direction. Wait, who leaned what? Nick, you lean Memphis?
I don't lean Patty C. Sorry. I'm on Rice.
All right, you went Rice. Colby, you went Memphis?
I did.
I'm with you, Colby. I'm with Memphis.
Let's go. Folks, what I tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props, all that good stuff. You can build your own model, or you can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard. That's what I do. I do that. They build around that, and it's fantastic. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. They also have a slew of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. That is BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Jump on in on those East Carolina Pirates. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know that we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. All right, we're back. We got a barn burner in Pasadena, California. This will be an Iowa crowd, by the way. Series goes back to 1938. Iowa.
What's the most recent matchup? Do you know this one, Colby?
I don't. I mean, I saw it. It's the Ronnie Harmon, right? This is the three fumbles, the rigged game. Yeah, the Rose Bowl. Yeah.
And it was in the same location. So here we are, 38 years later. And for the first time, these two teams play each other since Ronnie Harmon fixed the game famously against UCLA and cost Iowa, who went 10-2 that year, beat Michigan, borderline national, maybe the best team in Iowa history. And this is maybe Iowa's got this one circled a little bit.
Oh, you know they do. Hayden Fry from the grave. I mean, Iowa's laying 5.5. This has come down a half a point or a full point overnight. An impressive win by UCLA on the road in Lincoln. But I'm going back to the well. Give me Iowa -5.5. I think they're too complete of a football team here. I think they win this one something in the vein of 31-13, 31-16, something like that. I'm locking these Friday games I like. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Off subject real quick. I just saw something on X. It's from the Hugh Freeze burner account that says, I voted Trump solely to get Diego Pavia deported.
Fantastic.
On which burner account was that?
I think it was a Hugh Freeze.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah, Hugh Freeze. Diego Pavia just menace.
3-0 all time against Hugh Strip Club Freeze.
Colby, I agree completely with what you're saying there. I mean, UCLA has to be a success story so far. And Iowa has been a lot better at home than on the road this year. Not surprisingly, that's kind of them every year. But if you want to go back a couple of weeks, Iowa beat Minnesota on the road 31-14. This is kind of what this game feels like to me. I'm going to lock up Iowa with you. Let's go. My favorite play of the weekday game.
Brandon Sullivan is also, he's fun. Consider me a fan. Yeah, this could be an Iowa crowd. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Let me tell you what. I would love to see the stat where Iowa is actually ranked ahead offensively of the team they're playing. I'm guessing there's one game in the last 15 years where that's the case. But that is the case this game. Iowa number 95 in total offense. UCLA number 124. Iowa also significantly higher in defense. I believe 19 to somewhere. I think number 60 for UCLA. The road spot, a little concerning, especially with how UCLA has turned a corner here. And maybe they blew their wad last week against Nebraska. Iowa, triple lock. Let's go.
Oh, friends for eternity. Let's go. We got a triple lock in Pasadena at the world famous Rose Bowl. Jump on it. Hawkeyes -5.5. All right. Moving forward, the Lobos of New Mexico in a series that goes back to 1953 are heading to the snapper. Take on San Diego State. San Diego State's laying 3. I'm going to lay the 3 with the Aztecs, but I don't love this one.
This is a tough game.
This is a tough one here.
If anybody has a strong play on this in the chat, I want to hear it. Yeah, but I think the difference is the home team and the home environment. So give me San Diego State too.
Patty?
I don't know. I saw one of these metrics. I wish I had it pulled up right off the top of my head, but New Mexico and New Mexico State have both reverted back to terrible football this year. Some of the least.
Wait. I mean, then New Mexico was horrible last year too.
Well, yeah,
New Mexico been good.
What I'm saying is New Mexico football in the state in general. I thought it was coming up there for. Well, I guess it was Bronco Mendenhall this year. So maybe it was just my hopes and dreams of them getting better that have been disappointed. But obviously the loss of Jerry Kill in New Mexico State, Bronco Mendenhall not really living up to expectations.
Whoa! Hey, he already cashed my over.
That's true. 3-6 is a decent year, but
they're putting up points. I mean, are they a good football team? No, certainly not. But I think the future's bright for them.
Yeah.
What team are they week to week? We don't know. 2 weeks ago against Colorado State, they managed 6 points. Last week against Wyoming, they put up 45. Either way, I'm all over San Diego State at home to cover 3. You know what? I'll lock this one too.
Okay, somebody does have a strong play. All right.
Well, I don't get. They bring the head cold, but they're
Patty C locking up. Wait, locking up the Lobos, right?
No, I'm locking up
the
San
Aztecs.
Diego.
Okay.
San Diego State not 2 weeks ago beat Wazoo. You know,
almost beat Wazoo.
Oh, they lost. They lost by 3, right? Yeah. Okay. So maybe. So why does San Diego State suck this year? What is going on there?
Well, it's coach.
Yeah, installing a much different system than the whole.
Are they getting back to physicality, or are they?
No, they're going speed. They're going fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So
fast cars and fast women.
I thought Brady Hoke was making a concerted effort to make them more of a pussy football team, didn't he?
He tried that. It didn't work.
Yeah, he tried, and that got him fired, or forced into retirement. Let's jump over to Saturday's action here, dude. I was thinking about this. This is quite fascinating. So we have Florida heading to Austin, Texas.
The backup quarterback thing again, right?
Unbelievable. This is like, okay, so it was 7 backup quarterbacks last year.
This isn't even backup. This is third string now.
Yes, a walk-on from So wait, they played 7 backup quarterbacks in 12 games last year in the regular season. 12 games. They got this year Michigan's backup. They got ULM's backup. They got Mississippi State's backup. They got Oklahoma's backup.
Colby, I like the point that you're making, but technically it's Michigan's starter
for this week.
Well, for Michigan, it doesn't matter. All their
starting quarterback. He started the season and now he's back to starting. It's just
okay.
Who are we talking about? That's fucking Warren.
Yeah. But okay, hold on. So if we throw out Michigan, they still have what? ULM, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Florida. That is 4 backup quarterbacks, and we're not done with the season yet. So they potentially could be on 11 backup quarterbacks. And how many games is this? They what is their record right now? They're 7-1. So in 20 games, 11 or 12 backup quarterbacks. That's insane. That's fucking insane. Give me the points though, because I don't think Texas is that good. Nick?
Texas might not be that good, but I'm not going to get behind a third stringer here. I think this is kind of a surprising Texas blowout game. I'm going to lay the big number, actually.
Patty C?
I absolutely disagree. I think the likes of South Carolina, the likes of Florida, all these perceived second-tier SEC teams are so much closer, especially because their talent lives up to the likes of the big guys. And who of the perceived blue bloods is playing up to expectations? None that I can see. Right? Who? Texas? What's their big win? What has Texas done here?
No, we've established
Vander.
this. They haven't beaten anybody.
Vanderbilt's their big win. Yeah, or maybe Oklahoma. What? So, yeah, I think Florida has been playing much better football. I think Florida covers 21.5. You're going to give me 3 touchdowns and the hook? Fuck off. You know what? This is my lock era. This is my 3rd lock in a row. So
Right.
lock it up.
Somebody's trigger happy.
Yeah.
Did you hit the bar before the show with these locks? They're going a little crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got this Allagash triple, which is 9% alcohol by volume. So
Good beer. Shotgun it. Hey, I mean, if you're trigger happy, where's the shotgun?
yeah. Well, I'll be blacked out shortly.
Patty C locking up Florida plus 21.5. I'm going to stay away. Moving along, Syracuse going to Chestnut Hill. BC's laying 2. What are you talking about? Syracuse, they could end up in the ACC championship. You know what I mean? What's going on here? This one stinks, NC Nick. Give me BC -2 because Syracuse should be favored here. But I'm going to go BC -2 and just trust the stink. Patty C, NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I don't know how you could have a definitive feel on this one way or another. Did Syracuse make a great comeback? Are they 6-2? Did they make a great comeback against Virginia Tech? Sure. You know, so should they be given credit? Maybe. But Boston College has been playing okay for most of the year. They played Virginia Tech back-to-back. Obviously, Virginia Tech got the better of Boston College, not so much against Syracuse. But I think these are 2 very evenly matched teams. And you go to Chestnut Hill, you know what? I don't know. Nick, tell me what to do here, Nick.
Syracuse is a phony 6-2. I mean, they have, solid win, or not solid, but large wins over bad teams like Ohio and Holy Cross. But the other 4 wins, all by single digits, 2 of those in overtime. The last time they went on the road, Honda McCord threw like 13 interceptions or something. I definitely like Boston College at home here. I think they win it straight up.
But did they win by 2?
Oh, sure. Yes, they cover also.
Right.
They win by 3.
Yeah.
I'm with Nick, I guess. I'm with Nick, but yeah, it's about that. I would never touch this.
Well, I took BC. I took BC too.
Okay.
I just said it stunk because Syracuse should be favored in my opinion. Moving forward, same time. This game's fucking horrible. Purdue, I'm sure they'll make Ohio State #1 after this week when they cover the 38 against a horrible Purdue team. Give me Ohio State 52, Purdue, I don't know, 10. Series goes back to 1919. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm on a side with you too. I agree. I mean, I think you're a little worried about a letdown spot after Ohio State, had the big win over Penn State, which I told you guys to go Buckeyes if I can, toot my own horn some. But I'm not looking to get behind Purdue on the road. Go Buckeyes.
Patty?
It's 38.
Yes.
I am looking to get behind Purdue because the only teams that Ohio State has beaten by 38 or more are Western Michigan and Akron. Okay, and I think Purdue is a little bit better than both of those teams.
I disagree.
I have heard that you do like to get behind a train, though, so I'm not surprised.
Hey, put me at the end of the train. I want sloppy hundreds. The wider the better, and I need it. Let's be honest.
Well, I don't.
He's the kind of guy that would drink
No,
a gallon of
I
gasoline
don't.
so
No,
he
I
can piss
don't.
in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
He's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile, a fistful of pesos, and running a train on you.
If it's anything but first in the train for me, it's a hot dog down the hallway situation. Let's be honest.
Patty C did recommend that he was like, dude, we should hang out one night and watch all 3 human centipedes.
Hey, let's have a little fun. No, look, I don't think you know why though, because I don't trust Will Howard to just absolutely annihilate and put up huge numbers against a Big Ten team. 38 points, huge spread even at home. So that has me on.
Really? Did you trust Riley Leonard to do the same?
Wait, Riley Leonard against who?
Purdue. He played Purdue, and Notre Dame scored the most points they scored in 100 years or something.
They might not need to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Just hand it to Judkins and Henderson.
That's fair. Well, even that lends itself to Ohio State. Like,
what about Braden
running
Locke? What about Braden Locke in Wisconsin when they won 52-6 against Purdue?
Okay, you're making some good points. Maybe don't touch it, but I'm still going Purdue.
All right, next up, same time slot, Minnesota, Rutgers. I already cashed my over on PJ Fleck and the Gophers. Now I need Rutgers to pull an upset so I can cash the over on Rutgers. I don't know. I'm out on this Rutgers team right now. The Greek Pellet Gun's playing revenge. He's now the starting quarterback of Rutgers. He was starting quarterback of Minnesota last season. Is there an edge to that? I don't know, but I think Minnesota's a better football team. But six is a lot.
Wait, who would the edge go to? Would that go to the Greek?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm putting a question mark behind that. I'll take the points though. Give me 24-20 Minnesota wins. Nick?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if any team needed a bye, it was Rutgers after losing 4 straight and looking like complete dog shit in the process. So I think they work on some things, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think everybody's going to be hopping on Minnesota here because, I mean, look, Minnesota's won 4 in a row. Rutgers lost 4 in a row. Is that easy, right? No, I'll take the home dog and the points.
3802 is asking about the time zone play here.
Wait, what? Who's the home team here? We got
Right, when they come 2 or 3 time zones over, I don't think this is that big of a deal.
It's fucked up right now. Who's the home team here? It says Piscataway right here, buddy.
Dude, you act like I'm looking at this fucking screen at all times. I'm just dialing around. I'm trying to pull up information that might be pertinent.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
I just look at you fucking idiots the whole time and talk. No, okay. I got more important things to do. Rutgers, no. I mean, if you're going to discourage me from pulling up specific stats, I think Rutgers has been playing poorly enough and Minnesota's been playing well enough that 6 points seems laughable. Give me Minnesota to cover. Borderline lock.
Woo.
Too pussy to pull the trigger right now. But the wheels have fallen off in Piscataway.
Still, 6 is a big number for any Minnesota game.
What have their previous results been against similar competition? I guess UCLA they only beat by 4. Okay. Maryland, they beat by 25. Okay.
Maryland is not similar competition.
Illinois on the road, they beat by 8. That's probably
but that was classic. That was a classic strip sack they got there. I mean, that was Illinois had the lead with 4 minutes left.
Dude, Rutgers fucking sucks right now. Fuck off.
All right, we're moving along. Texas State's at ULM. This is not in Piscataway. I'm sorry. This is in
angry over there.
This is in Monroe.
I get too much of this alcohol, dude. I'm like fucking, I don't know, 3 beers of this 9%. What is that? Normal? If I'm this like 6 Bud Lights, it's so pathetic. I shouldn't be.
I want this pilot. It's a matter of national security.
Dude, I just think this stuff hits a little faster. You know,
it's 9%. It does.
Yeah, it does hit a little faster. You get a little more volatile over here. I'm sorry.
Betty C, you see that thing that says 9%? That little telltale sign, right? that means that's an indicator. All right.
That's a what is that? What is it? Wait. Now I'm drunk. Okay, what's the movie?
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder reference. Great movie. Great fucking movie.
I'm curious what you're doing here, Colby. Both teams have lost 2 in a row. Texas State, I had visions of them in the college football playoff and winning the Sun Belt. Not so much. They've lost, like I said, to Louisiana and ODU. I'm curious what direction you're going here.
I'm going to take ULM at Malone Stadium there in Monroe. They're getting 7.5. I don't feel great about this, but Texas State's been a dud a little bit this year. I'm going to ride the momentum Bryant Vincent's got. And why are they giving that assistant coach so much shit? He's just yelling at the guy. He didn't punch him. He didn't punch him or anything. I don't know if you guys followed that story.
What happened with that one?
I don't know. He's just yelling at his player and the media overreacted again. Yeah, give me the points. Nick?
Well, big question mark is Jordan McLeod. If he's healthy, I think Texas State rolls. On Tuesday, we probably don't know what his current status is. I'm going to say Texas State. I'm going to give them one more chance here. I think ULM is coming back down to earth after that quick start.
Wow. Patty, what are you doing here in Monroe?
Let me tell you this. Texas State, number 18 offense in the nation. Louisiana Monroe, number 125. Likewise, number 53 defense for Texas State, number 71 for Monroe. So statistically, Texas State, despite maybe not playing great lately, the much better team. I don't know. Having seen Monroe beat JMU, do I give them a little more credit? Yes. Is Jordan McLeod a little bit of a disappointment for Texas State? Yes, but still, give me Texas State on the road to cover 7.5.
All right, moving into Atlanta. Haynes King, questionable, NC Nick. So they say he might play. Remember this game last year? It was hilarious.
Yes, it was.
Miami's laying 11 at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Series goes back to 1955. The Yellow Jackets. I'm logging this. Well, I don't know. I need to know if Haynes King plays. I think they're going to beat Miami.
Really?
I don't think Miami's any good, guys. I think Miami's defense is terrible. I think those wideouts Georgia Tech can scorch those corners.
Let me tell you that you have a fucking blind spot on Miami. And you know why?
Why?
Because you don't respect the fact that they can score lightning fast at will on I think on anyone in the nation. There's no one in the nation.
Who's the best defense they played? Didn't we do this exercise on a reaction show?
I would say Duke's got a pretty good defense, and they torched them. Which is why I did not bet Duke along with you guys, because I was afraid of that. I was afraid of Duke matching the offensive output because Miami can light up a scoreboard. I mean,
Duke has the number 50 defense, so it's not lights out necessarily.
Tyler Santucci, buddy. Tyler Santucci.
Who's Tyler Santucci again?
Mike Elko guy that's running the defense for Georgia Tech.
I'll say this. I feel like Georgia Tech has a little bit of Miami's number. I feel like that Atlanta-Miami thing is maybe it's just what I want to happen, but I think in Atlanta, give me Georgia Tech to cover 11.
Yeah. Well, we need to know if Haynes King's playing. To me, if Haynes King's not playing, Miami covers.
I'm just looking up like on X now for people are all over the board with them. It's way too early to tell. And if Haynes King doesn't play, I'm on Miami.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, though. If Haynes King plays and the line doesn't adjust much, then I would take Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech's got a huge if Haynes King plays, those wideouts and Jamal Haynes at the running back spot,
sure,
I think they can put up a shit ton of points on this Miami defense.
But is there some kind of revenge angle from that crazy game last year too?
I do think they probably get up for that a little bit because Miami is, I think, grasping for reasons to get excited for games. The ACC slate, I feel like they think they're probably better than most of the teams they're playing. And so if there's a reason for them to get up, maybe this results in a late cover because they stay motivated till late in the game. Yeah. But I don't know. I just Miami's not that much better than most of the ACC teams.
Yeah.
But Georgia Tech without Haynes King kind of sucks. So it's
true.
A little bit
That's what I'm saying. It's actually a really hard. We need to know that before I'm going to lock it up. Moving along, Navy heading to Raymond James Stadium, the Big Sombrero. They're laying 3 against Alex. Going to go to the Golash, who did not. Him and Tom and Herman had a little dust up. It was fun. I'll lay the 3 with Navy because I don't think South Florida's any good. Byron Brown's still out, I believe. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I disagree. I'm going to go South Florida. They won in Annapolis by 14 last year, 44-30. And now USF has won a couple in a row. And the other guy, Archie, the other quarterback's playing solid too. They had a hell of a second half against FAU, like I mentioned earlier. I'm going to take USF at home.
Patty?
Can we? All right, let's try and do a stylistic analysis. And this may involve a heavy amount of bullshit. And I think anyone that's actually trying to do, off the cuff, a stylistic analysis is probably full of shit. But USF, they're high octane shit, and Navy kind of has a little bit of a spread triple option thing going on. I don't think there's any. I mean, I preface that with that kind of question as to whether there's anything to take away from that. I don't think there is. It's a huge question mark. I think that the fact that Navy got shit on by Notre Dame, but that was largely self-inflicted errors. The Rice loss last week is massive. Why did that happen? Why did they lose to Rice?
Well, there was like a 5-hour delay. They played at like 10 o'clock at night. And I don't know. They lost.
It's kind of the third end of a back-to-back road since they went to East Rutherford, Houston, and then Tampa. So Navy's traveling all over the place. Meanwhile, what is it? USF, this is their first home game. What's the spread on this game? 3 Navy. God, I don't fucking know. Give me Navy. I think they get back on track.
All right, moving forward. Dub V, Cincinnati. Patty C, they should have ended the season with this. This is what I'm saying. Mini rivalry week. Series goes back to 1921. Cincinnati's laying 5. Well, Dub V's shown their colors. They're pussies. That's who they are. Cincinnati will win. I will lay the 5 points. NC Nick?
I feel like almost every game we're talking about quarterback injuries, but I do believe Garrett Green is doubtful. If you look at Cincinnati, I think they're playing good football. I mean, their 2 in-conference losses were tough road trips, and that 3-point loss at Texas Tech, and then the loss at Colorado. West Virginia's pass defense struggling, 106th in the nation. You got Sorsby slinging the rock for Cincinnati. They're at home. I'm gonna lock up the Bearcats, guys. Ooh. I feel like we haven't had a whole lot of locks yet. Are we gambling on some of these games?
No, I had a bunch on the Friday slate, but 3802 saying Green being injured is a positive for Dub V. NC Knicks locking up the Bearcats, and his old boy Scott Satterfield. He used to hit the brewery with them in Boone. Patty C, what are you doing here at Nippert?
I have to disagree, and I wish I could agree with you, Nick. I think the entire Big 12 until you get down to like Oklahoma State, and even Oklahoma State can win against almost any team in the Big 12, but I think they are one step behind. But I think the rest of the Big 12, which is how many teams now? 14. The other 13 teams in the conference, all
16, right? It's 16.
15, yeah. So the other 15 teams in the conference can all beat each other depending on the given night. Cincinnati and West Virginia are very comparable teams. Obviously, you have West Virginia beating Pitt. Cincinnati finding a way to lose a Pitt. Does the 45 or 50,000 seats in Nippert intimidate West Virginia? I don't think so. I think West Virginia is able to keep it close. Give me Cincinnati by 2. West Virginia covers.
Jamie Hope saying this should be a Thursday night game with Gino Godolgi doing the coin toss. Great.
You know what I think?
There.
I think whoever, as long as we can get rid of Scott Satterfield, send him to North Carolina. I'm gonna put this on air right repeatedly. As soon as Mac Brown retires from North Carolina, they should get Scott Satterfield, and it should be a bidding war for Rich Rodriguez between West Virginia and Cincinnati. And whoever gets him is gonna have good things in their future.
I like it. Muhammad says, why don't you guys play Friends for Eternity anymore? No, we played it earlier when we agreed.
Did we only have one triple lock so far?
Yes.
Who was it?
Iowa against UCLA.
Don't worry. We got a lot of games to go.
Yeah. Liberty, the Flamin' Libs. I got one right here. Lock it up. The Flamin' Libs against the third worst team in college football, Middle Tennessee. I will lay the 11. In a series that goes back to 1982 at Johnny Red Floyd Stadium. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I agree. Finally, we are in agreement. I'm still looking at fading MTSU.
Triple down. This is a fucking joke.
There we go. Let's go.
There we go.
You wanted the music. We got your music.
There we go. Triple lock. We're taking the Flamin' Libs on the road. Play the 11. Let's go.
Someone put the YouTube link. I believe this is Dragon Sound is the band, right?
Yes.
Dragon Sound, yes.
Classic band. They're out there still, hopefully. UConn. I already cashed my over. You guys laughed at me in the preseason. I told you this team's winning 8 games this year.
This game is fucking, who knows? Because UAB came out and annihilated Tulsa last week. So
it's true. It's true, but UConn's a blue blood these days, buddy. And Jim Mora knows he got robbed against Wake Forest, right? He got robbed against who was it? The Duke Blue Devils. He said week 3.
Now you guys ass whooped there.
Really? It was 26-21.
It was closer. No, it it was actually a little bit closer than I thought.
You're thinking of the Maryland game.
Okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I'll lay the points here because the UAB is a weird team. Jalen Kitna threw for like 500 yards last week. No lock though. I'm laying the points. Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna take UAB. I mean, this is UConn's first road game. It's at September 14th, so they are not gonna know what to do away from the wrench. I think UConn wins, but it's only by 3 or 4. Give me UAB.
Patty?
Gotta disagree. I think UConn's been a pretty damn good team lately. I got UConn winning, and I will actually lock this.
Woo! There we go. Let's go with those Huskies. Patty C, lock it up to UConn Huskies and Jim Mora.
I'll say this. Trent Dilfer and Jalen Kitna may be the most compelling quarterback coach / quarterback in the country in terms of checkered backgrounds and interesting future storylines. So I guess I'm kind of rooting for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Marshall is heading to Hattiesburg. Marshall's laying 13.5. No. Give me the points in Southern Miss. Marshall wins by 7. Nick, what are you doing here?
I agree. You got Southern Miss off a bye. The interim coach covered against JMU. I think he can cover this too, and still probably not win, but cover.
Patty?
Southern Miss has one of the worst offenses in the nation, 126. Marshall kind of mediocre. I feel like Marshall's playing a lot better ball, but that is a huge spread on the road still. I feel like I would love to see the attendance numbers in Hattiesburg over the past few games. I'm guessing it's not a super hostile crowd, so I'm going to take Marshall to cover 13.5 on the road.
There we go. The Bulldogs of Georgia on a midnight train to Georgia. They're on a midnight train to Oxford, Mississippi, the Grove. Take on Ole Miss. Series goes back to 1940. Georgia's laying 2.5. I am locking it up. I will lay the 2.5. It could be 3, could be 4, could be 5, could be 6, could be 7, and I would lay it. I don't think this offense does very well against Kirby Smart defenses, so that's the logic, even in the hostile environment. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, I'd ask you, just like some of those other teams we mentioned, how many good teams has Ole Miss played this year?
South Carolina, LSU.
Okay.
And they went 1-1 in those.
Split them. Right. Yeah, okay. And that's saying South Carolina is a good team.
They also lost to Kentucky.
Right, exactly.
At home.
Georgia is much more battle tested is my point. And I mean, if you look at it, to me, like, is Ole Miss really ready to step up in weight classes? Because they haven't done it in previous seasons. This game is basically Ohio State at Penn State last week. And last week I locked up the Buckeyes. This week I'm going to lock up Georgia. Prove it to me, Ole Miss. Until then, I'm going to fade your ass. So let's go Georgia.
We could have a triple lock going here, Patty C.
All right. I just need to pull up something real quick. So give me just a second. South Carolina's or Ole Miss's rather offensive yardage per game. They are number 2 in the nation at 555 per game. Now against South Carolina, they managed almost there. They managed a total of 426 or 425. So minus 130 there. Against LSU, who we identified as their only other tough opponent in the game, they managed a total of 464. So it's suffice it to say they're about 100 yards less than their typical average against a decent competitor. I think Georgia probably has a tougher defense. However, the fact that they're the home field advantage, I don't know, man. Look, I'm just gonna go with vibe here. I don't trust Georgia, but I get the fact that Georgia kind of steps up in these games when it's an obvious, like, huge game, and Ole Miss, maybe they're a little vulnerable in these kind of games. Still, I think I almost want to take Ole Miss money line And that would put a giant monkey wrench in the college football playoff. However, this would almost certainly put 4 SEC teams in the college football playoff. But I will take Ole Miss to cover, and I think they're going to win on the money line.
Wow. I mean, they run that foo-foo shit. You know what I mean? They played last year. Georgia won 52-17, right? That was at Georgia. But they, Ole Miss runs the
same quarterback for Ole Miss, right? Jackson Dart.
Yes.
All
same
right.
quarterback for Georgia. But Ole Miss runs the same offense that Tennessee runs. Jeff Lebby was with Josh Heupel.
But Georgia and Tennessee haven't played this year, and
no, but they've played the past 3 years.
The difference I think between this year and previous years is that both Ole Miss and Tennessee have way better defenses. So let me double check on that. Ole Miss, the number 23 defense. Tennessee, the number 4
disagree
defense.
with those numbers, though. I don't think Ole Miss's defense is that good. I think it's the competition they've played. What are the electric offense? Offensives they've faced this season.
Let me see Ole Miss's schedule real quick.
It's fucking horrible. It's horrible.
It really is.
Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake, Georgia Southern, Kentucky.
LSU's a good offense. That's pretty much it.
Southern, South Carolina, and LSU. Oklahoma, not good offensively. Arkansas, they have played no one. Not one good offense. So their
LSU is the best one. That's what I'm saying.
Is Georgia a good offense? Do we expect Georgia to get off? Georgia, offensively. Sorry, let me get this pulled up right now. That's defense. Sorry. Georgia is the number 38 offense, so it's not a stellar offense, but it is probably going to be a shootout. Yeah.
The point I was trying to make was that Kirby Smart has had great success against the veer and shoot. He beat Tennessee 41-17 in Knoxville in 21. Beat them 27-13, but that game was 27-0 in the fourth in 2022. And then last season was 38-10. And then when you add in the Ole Miss game they played a year ago, 52-17, I just don't think this offense will work against a Kirby Smart defense.
I totally could see Georgia just being like a much more well-rounded team, and their talent kind of nullifying Ole Miss's advantage in scheme, or whatever talent advantage Ole Miss normally has that allows them to get off on other teams. Georgia shuts down, and then when it comes down to what do you got versus what do I got, Georgia's got the better of the options. So I can see it. The fact that it's a 2.5 point spread in Georgia's favor on the road tells the general public that it's a fucking close game. I can see it going either way. I'm definitely not locking it, but I think that Georgia has been just suspect enough, and Ole Miss has been playing well enough that I'm going to take Ole Miss. But I can see you guys. You guys are both going Georgia, right?
I'm locking it. I feel we're both locking it.
Yep.
Okay.
Moving along. Clemson is heading into Blacksburg, Virginia. We thought this game was going to be with the ACC title on the line, but it seems to be a little bleaker now. Series goes back to 1900. Clemson's laying at 6.5.
This game looked so good 1 week ago. It's such trash now.
I'm going to take the points here. I mean, as long as Drones is playing, which this is like a Haynes King situation. If they're going with Colin Schley, then I will backtrack on this. But if Drones plays, which I'm being told he's going to play, give me the Hokies in the 6.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, Clemson's still in the mix for that ACC title berth. I mean, they're down 1 game in the standings to Miami and SMU. And they've lost 2 games now because they lost to Georgia in the opener, which means if they have any hope of a playoff, they cannot lose a third. Coming off the loss, even if Jones plays, he's banged up. I'm going to lay it with the road team again. I think Clemson bounces back here. I'm going to lock up the Tigers.
Whew, he's locking it up. By the way, Ball State just goes for 2 and ties it up against Miami, Ohio. NC Nick locking up the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Swin. Patty, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm pulling up a couple stats here, but one crazy stat. Even though they're both comparably defensively, 52 for Clemson, 61 for Virginia Tech. Clemson, the number 6 offense in the nation, versus Virginia Tech being the number 55. Or sorry, that's West Virginia. Virginia Tech being, I can't type, the number 73 offense in the nation. So Clemson supposedly a way better offense. I don't buy that for an instant. I think Clemson, I think Virginia Tech has proven themselves to be. I mean, let's be honest. If they had not choked and pulled a chokies thing against Syracuse, then they would still find themselves in the ACC championship conversation. I think the fact that they did that maybe takes a little of the steam out of this game. However, I think the Hokie faithful will still get up for this, and they're gonna challenge Clemson. They don't win, but they keep it close. So give me Tech.
Yeah. Georgia State's taking on James Madison, the Dukes. The Dukes are laying 17. Get the fuck out of here. Give me Georgia State and Del McGee with 17. NC Nick, what are you doing here in the Sun Belt?
I agree. I mean, look, Georgia State is not a good team, but they are playing hard for Del McGee. I kind of like him as a head coach too. I think they cover this. Give me the points.
I like Del McGee as well. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Yeah, JMU's quarterback guy. I should know this off the top of my head.
Alonzo Barrett. He's been playing like such crap. I think his stats are inflated when it's connecting. It's connecting when it's not. It's not. It is not a reliable situation with Alonzo Barrett. And Georgia State has already flexed their muscle by beating Vanderbilt early in the season. Even though we get them at home, can't trust JMU. I got to go Georgia State here. Yeah, it is Georgia State's fourth straight road game. Good point. All right. But I just think 17 is too much. So, yeah. That's the logic there. I think JMU will win the game, but 17 points, big number. Moving along, jumping over to the likes of wow. You want to talk about stink?
Ridiculous, yeah.
You want to talk about stink? NC State's laying 3.5 at home at Carter Finley. Series goes back to 1924. The Duke Blue Devils taking on the Pussy Pack. I mean, I'm taking Duke, but the stink is all over this, so I will not lock this up. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
There's definitely threes out there too. And look, I'm a Duke fan. I hope Duke wins this game. They beat NC State in an ugly game in Durham last year, but NC State's offense has turned a corner, and it is with freshman CJ Bailey. Last week, they exploded for 59 points. In the last 3 games, Bailey's averaging over 290 passing yards per game and has 7 touchdowns to just 1 interception. He is the future there. I got a feeling NC State's going to win this. And if you can find the 3, which I'm looking at threes now, I think I'm going to lock NC State actually. And I'll happily lose my bet if that's the case, but I just got a feeling on this one.
He said CJ Bailey's the future. They said that about MJ Morris this time last year.
Let me ask you this. You being a turncoat bastard, Nick, who is a Duke basketball fan, but an NC State football fan.
I like Duke football more than NC State football.
Is that right?
Duke's first. Yes, that's right.
And yet, did you just lock NC State to beat Duke?
I think that's going to happen.
Well, I think you're foolish, and I am tempted to go the opposite way. So I will. I'm going to lock Duke. I'm going to lock Duke to not only cover 3.5, but to win outright on the road.
I like it. I hope you're right.
And your little recency bias is bullshit.
Now we got a problem. We got a battle, folks. And NC Nick's on the other side of his boys. All right, let's go. In one corner, NC Nick is going with the Pussy Pack. In the other corner, Patty C with them Blue Devils.
How long we known each other, Nick?
Too long, man. Too long.
Yeah. Well,
we all grew up. We all grew up together, Cam. So
we played. Colby and I played basketball together when we were 8. But I would say Nick and I probably really got to know each other when I was 13, which would have made you what, 16, Nick?
Roughly.
Yeah. So it's been a long ass time. Without revealing our old ass age, it's been a long time.
Jamie Hove cracking me up. Michigan. It's heading to Bloomington. I can't believe it. Indiana's a 14-point favorite against Michigan. I'm pretty sure that's never happened. Series goes back to 1900. All right. Look, I was feeling so good with Michigan State up 10-0 when I was catching my points. I was like, I knew it. Knew Indiana would fold. I love Kurt Cignetti. I love his BDE. But I think Michigan's going to cover the 14. This is Cignetti rolls. He still wins by double digits. 31-20. Indiana wins.
Wrong.
Patty C, what are you doing here with JMU West taking on Michigan?
Fade as you wish. Okay. The balanced aspect of Indiana's team allows them to, they're the exact type of team when Michigan, rushes the ball. And I was looking at that metric earlier today where Michigan has a high or at least a above mid pass completion percentage, but their yards per attempt of pass completions are so low. All Indiana has to do is crowd the line of scrimmage, right? They're going to do that, and they're going to be able to do that, and they'll still be able to stop Michigan's rush. Michigan has a JV offense, and Indiana's offense can exploit Michigan's defense with balance. Over the course of 4 quarters, Indiana will absolutely cover 14 points at home. Give me Indiana.
I like it. Wait a second here, Wallace. How am I 0-9 on picking Miami when I had Cal plus the points?
Or Virginia Tech plus the points?
Yes.
He's just
there's a little thing called a spread.
NC Nick, what are you doing here in Bloomington?
Look, my initial reaction was to fade the undefeated team, go Michigan. But the more I thought about this, fuck that, man. Michigan they're just a very mid team this year. And if you look at their 2 road trips, this is only their 3rd road trip of the season. They lost by double digits at Washington, lost by 14 at the Illini. Do you really want to fade Indiana at this point at home? On the road, you could talk me into it. So I'm going to kind of,
tuck job it up.
I'm going to tuck job it up. I'm going to Benedict it. I'm going to go against my initial reaction. I'm going to ride Hoosiers. Let's go.
Well, at a certain point, you're just playing with fire. You think it's going to finally catch up to them. But is Vegas, is the entire country just assuming that Indiana is the same team they've been for the last 40 years when they're
not playing with fire as much as like Miami is, where they're in like these, close games. They need crazy endings and stuff. So they're not, I wouldn't say they're really playing with fire yet. Is this the best team they've faced so far?
Probably, yes. And is this a huge spread?
You could argue it, I guess, but it's at home. It's not on the road.
It was 13.5 before. I felt a lot better about this. 14, I don't feel as great about, but still, Indiana is I'm going to steal a term from another podcast, a wagon. And Indiana keeps rolling until proven otherwise.
Shout out to GBO Farms, who wrote in Patty C on his ballot today. He will receive 1 vote in Tennessee. Let's go.
You're damn right. That should be enough.
This game's fantastic. I mean, Indiana, I should note that their next game is Ohio State. Now, yes, they have a bye week. Does that play a role? Is it a look ahead spot
for Indiana?
Yeah.
They got Michigan, the defending national champion, coming to town, and it's a look ahead spot.
No, Jim Harbaugh.
Look ahead to the bye week.
Well, no, I'm saying their next game is Ohio State, though.
Well, they have 2 weeks until
Indiana's never been.
I was asking. I was not stating.
No.
God damn it! It's not a bye week.
No.
Or it's not a look ahead spot. They have a bye week next week. Indiana, I get what you're doing here. You're trying to sell us on Indiana a little more, and I agree with you. I think Indiana's locked in. I think what Kurt Signetti said. Purdue sucks. He's right about that. But he also said, so does Michigan, so does Ohio State. I think he's going to prove that Michigan sucks this week by whooping their fucking ass.
Isn't that great that those are his next 3 opponents?
Amazing.
Yeah. Let's go.
It's got a little feeling of destiny to it, doesn't it?
Yes. Jonathan, yes, I believe there will be a Bombs Down Under episode this week. So check it out on Thursday. Army, North Texas, fire fucking game. Army's laying 5.5. I just sold you on, hey, if North Texas beats them, Patty C's known about this theory. These option teams just fuck up these air raid teams in Texas historically.
Yeah. Although,
and I'm buying in.
Without a Texas native himself, Bryson Daly, Army looked looked very vulnerable last week against Air Force, a pretty bad team.
I was on Air Force. Those games, you always take the points in those games.
I mean, if Bryson Daly plays, it might be a different story. I mean, he's only responsible for 19 rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
7 passing touchdowns. I mean,
is he back?
He is the offense.
Question.
I think he's going to play. I think there was news today that he's probable.
Well, he's from Texas. He wants to go and show it off for mommy, daddy, and all those girls he couldn't fuck in high school.
If he's playing, I'm laying. Let's go Army.
If he's playing,
I'm laying it too. I'm laying it too. Lay the 5.5.
You know what? Let's lock up Army. If
I'll lock this, Nick.
All right, triple lock. Let's go.
Let's go. The Army Black Knights minus 5.5. Let's go. Triple lock. All right, moving along. San Jose State going up to Corvallis to take on the Beavers. Series goes back to 1979. Oregon State's laying 2.5. I struggle with this one. I think it's one of the hardest games on the whole board here. Give me San Jose State minus 2.5. I'm sorry, plus 2.5. No lock by any means. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna go Beavs. You know, yes, they've lost 3 in a row. They're kind of struggling this year, just 4-4. But Corvallis matters. Let me go Oregon State.
Patty?
I have to agree with you. Even though San Jose State has been playing back up to par, 2.5 at home. Oregon State did just lay a dud, but I think they get back on track. And not going to lock it, but I'll go Beavers.
And it is not at night. It is at 3:30 Eastern time.
Yeah. C-Dub. Shout out to the C-Dub. All right, folks. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, stay put. We're going to jump over to the B side. Please, if you can, give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. Hop on over there, youtube.com/The College Experience. Please go over to Spotify. Also give us 5-star review and check out the B side on the College Football Experience. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience. The B side, things are getting a little loose. Patty C's been cherry bombed for the past hour and a half.
I said Patty C's already loose. He didn't need to wait for the B side.
Yeah, he came in loose. All right. NC Nick, we got a barn burner here. Iowa State is heading into Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri.
That important note, not a home
Very
game.
important note, because I actually think Iowa State's going to have the crowd. It's basketball season in Lawrence now. They're not making this trip. All right. Maybe some, but yeah, Iowa State, they look like that. They had a gutsy drive late in the game a week ago where it looked like Rocco Beck had done what he had to do to get them the dub, but then Texas Tech came roaring back when it seemed it wasn't possible. They get the dub. Iowa State's laying 3. Kind of fascinated by this game. I wish it was in Lawrence, but I'm going to lay the 3 with Iowa State, but I can't wait to watch this game. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't think the Jayhawk faithful are going to pack the stands for a 2-6 team. I kind of wanted to go dog here, but especially with Iowa State coming off a loss, it's not going to happen. I'm on the Cyclones here. Maybe if Iowa State made that comeback and won the game last week, then I could talk myself into the Jayhawks. But much like I'm looking to get behind like Clemson, who lost last week. I'm going to do the same thing with Iowa State. Lock.
I can be talked into it.
Patty C, what's your thoughts on this game?
I feel like these teams are probably a lot closer. Although I could be wrong. I'm going to do a little instant research here, but yeah, they're not that far away in terms of both offenses and defense production. Iowa State is better on both fronts than Kansas, and the fact that it's only 3 and it's a little bit of a neutral site game, I guess you got to go Cyclones. So. What did you guys go on this one? Sorry, I just came back.
Yeah, we're on the same side. We're contemplating locking it up or not.
What did you guys do? Did you lock it or not?
I'm going to refrain from that.
No. We were asking if we should lock it.
Don't be little pussies. Let's lock it up.
No, stay away. Stay away. Kansas
I'll
playing
lock
a lot
it
better.
up. Kansas is getting better. I'll lock it up though.
Patty C locking up the Clones -3 in
I
Arrowhead
think
Stadium.
Iowa State has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Where did they where did they rank in the college football playoff rankings?
They probably put them at 65th.
Yeah,
if I had to guess.
I got this pulled. Let me get this up to date here. They got them
17.
all the way down at 17. Yeah. Jeez. Iowa State knows that you know what's fucking terrible about this? If you go 11-1 in Big 12 play and make the Big 12 championship and go 11-2, you're probably going to get left out in favor of like a 10-2 and potentially a 9-3 SEC team. That's pathetic. That's very bad. But I think Iowa State dials in and they get the W. -3, easy. So, yeah, I'll lock it up.
Patty C locking up them clothes. Let's go. Next, we go to the Sun Bowl. This series does not go back to 1979 because Kennesaw State has a football program that's not that old. I meant to delete that. I forgot. UTEP's laying 3.5.
This was tough.
It's like last week all over again.
It's funny when all these CUSA games stop being during the week and they go to Saturday and you're like, you're like, well, who's watching this?
Why would they not just keep doing it? I don't care if the TV deal didn't work. I'm going to lay the 3.5.
Wow. Really?
I am.
Really? I thought you just said UTEP was one of the worst, it's probably the worst team in the country.
Yeah. And guess who I had at 132? 133 was Kent State. 132 was Kennesaw. The home edge is everything here.
No, that's why you take the points because they're that bad together. And if one team's going to win, it's probably only by a field goal. Give me Kennesaw.
Patty?
I'm with Nick. I'm on Kennesaw here.
All right, moving forward. Huge game. Absolutely huge game in Lubbock at Jones Stadium.
This is maybe the most really important game of the whole weekend. Because if Colorado wins, they're probably in the Big 12 championship game.
And if Texas Tech wins, there's a path for them to get to the Big 12 championship game because they have the tiebreaker over Iowa State.
Yeah.
Colorado's laying 3.5. Shop around. I'm on my Buffs. They had the bye week. The fact that Texas Tech won against Iowa State, their biggest win in like a decade, I think plays well for the Buffs. So lock it up. Little ECU Colorado parlay. 3.5. They're telling you the Buffs are going to win. Lay it. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Look, I started betting on Texas Tech in week 3 in that infamous North Texas game, which was a lock battle with myself and Patty C. Remind me, Colby, how'd that game go?
Oh man, wait, that was like a 77 to they had 51 in the first quarter.
that was it. Woo! Since then, I've bet them every week, and I'm 6-1 so far. So now they're home in Lubbock, and I'm getting points. So it's a lock battle, my friend.
Why
Texas
are you
Tech,
getting points?
Because they are good to me, and I'm going to keep on riding them until they fail. And it ain't going to be this week.
Spinal.
Red Raiders.
Patty C, we are about to do a lock battle. Do you want in on this action?
No, because I am exactly torn with both of your stances. And I think both of you guys have a point. I think Colorado has been playing really well lately. Off their last bye, they barely lost to K-State in a game they probably could have won. And then they have throttled Arizona and gotten really the better of Cincinnati. Now they have another bye. But the road trip to Lubbock is tough. Meanwhile, Arizona State's been playing pretty well, although losers are 2 of their last 3 and barely squeaking by Iowa State. I don't know. I feel like Colorado is my play to cover 3.5. What, they're the favorite though? Yeah. Actually, no. I got to go Texas Tech.
Okay. I think you said Arizona State. I think you meant Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
By the way, Colby, this is Colorado's toughest road game of the year.
It is definitely, I would say, but you got to like the 2 weeks prep. And I actually think the matchup too. I think Colorado has great guys in the secondary, and an air raid team going up against very good corners, I think helps Colorado. If they were
they're an air raid team that runs the ball too, though.
Still, they're not like a power running team to me.
No, but
You know what?
but it's more balanced, even if it's a finesse style run.
The Big
Yeah.
12, for it to only have one team projected into the playoff is an absolute crime because it is absolutely the most entertaining league at this point.
I actually think it's the hard. Here's the irony here. It might not have the juggernaut that like the Big Ten or SEC has, or even the ACC this year. If Miami, I mean, I tend to think they actually do with BYU, but I think BYU is better than Miami. But
if you make it through with 2 losses, you have proven so much.
But to me, their floor is so much higher. You should be credited for that, and they're not, because they're like, to me. Yes, there's shitty teams in the Big 12, but their shit is better. Their shitty teams are better than your shitty teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
without a doubt.
Well, the problem with the Big 12 this year is that like the good teams that we thought were going to be good, like Utah and Kansas State, aren't that good.
Oklahoma State, you mean? Yeah, Oklahoma State too.
Oh,
but Oklahoma State still beat Arkansas. Still beat Arkansas. You know what I mean? Like, so that's my point. Is like the floor. Like Mississippi State.
Oklahoma State beat Arkansas, and Arkansas beat Tennessee, and Tennessee is what, number 7 in the college football playoff polls right now.
Yeah. My point is just that like Mississippi State is far worse than the worst team in the Big 10 or the Big 12 to me.
Throwing shade at the Van B boys out of nowhere,
huh? Anyway. We're doing battle here, folks. Let's go. In one corner, pick Dundee's riding with the Buffaloes. NC Nick riding with the Red Raiders. All right, moving along. We got a battle of the T's. All right. Temple is catching 26.5 at Tulane.
I do like the Temple T. It's simple, but I like it.
That's what we're. That's the only thing we can focus on about this matchup that we're making competitive.
This series goes back to 1935. I'm going to lock up Temple plus 26.5. I think Temple's playing hard for old Stan Drayton.
I think they are too.
Nick?
No, I'm going to go with a good team. Temple sucks still. I mean, it's good. You get blown up by ECU?
Well, yeah, it's ECU. It's the hardest place to play in the country.
Well, they might have been playing hard, but they gave up 56 to ECU last time out. Back-to-back roadies. I guess they had a bye in between, but let me go Tulane.
Patty?
The spread is sitting at what is it at? It's at 26.5. If we're looking at similar competition for the likes of Tulane, who would you say? Rice? They only beat by 14. North Texas, they only beat by 8. Charlotte, they did beat by 31. That might be similar competition. Still, I'm not convinced that Tulane is playing their best football right now. So I will go with you, Colby. I'll go with Tulane to cover, or rather Temple to cover 26.5, even on the road.
Lock it up, buddy. Let's go.
No, I will not lock it up.
All right, folks. I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all the sports. They got NFL, college football, college basketball, CFL, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. Boost Supers upon us, which means you'll get a spooky amount of profit boost. You can now use specials and boost on all flex entries as well. So sign up. And when you do, sign up with that promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code TCE SGPN. Shout out to R. Wright, who's rocking with me. Look, South Carolina, it's been a fun season. All right, you just stormed. Did you see that great footage of all those drunk people trying to go through the bushes? It was pretty hilarious when they stormed the field there against Texas A&M. But now they got to head to the construction zone. All right, and look, it's been a fun little story for South Carolina and Shane Beamer. But Shane Beamer can ask his dad what happened to his alma mater. Virginia Tech, when they played Diego Pavia, they got pissed on. All right. Brent Pry, his old guy, got pissed on. And it's going to happen again right here. And the disrespect still happens, which is just
What's happening with our graphic here? Do we have a number here? No, it's covered up by something. But there's some blue hue going on here. Either way, we got South
That might be
Carolina.
on your screen, Patty.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
maybe.
that's your screen. South Carolina's laying 3.5. What the hell just happened?
He just left the entire stream.
His whole computer fried.
Patty C defeated by the blue hue.
Yeah, he got pissed on by Diego Pavia.
I'm back. The blue hue is gone. But yes, I'm with you. I think it's too many points in South Carolina's favor. You got to go.
It's a money line play. The money line play. Yes.
Certainly. Does that make it a lock because it's only 3.5 points?
I'll lock it up. I lock it up every week.
I'm locking it up every single week. Let's go.
But then, here's the thing. As much of a sleeper as Vanderbilt has been, so has South Carolina. Right? South Carolina gets no respect against how good they actually are this year. They should have beaten LSU straight up. And if they had beaten Alabama, which they very easily could, then they'd be 7-1 and firmly in the playoff discussion.
Also, probably should have lost to Old Dominion. But yes, I agree with you. They are way better.
But so is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's freaking awesome. This is a great game. Great game. I think it's the
spot. It's the spot for Vanderbilt. It's a great spot for Vanderbilt.
Vandy now 7-2 ATS, and they're 6-0 ATS against the P4 opponents.
Yes,
they do keep on getting disrespected, and they still are here.
Yeah.
Gotta go, Vandy.
Yeah, and all right, saying they should have lost to Old Dominion.
It was a long time ago.
Double lock on Vanderbilt. Let's go. What do we got here in the fourth? We have Miami, Ohio takes a 3-point lead with 11 minutes left in the fourth. MACtion Tuesdays killing it here, folks. Continuing on the journey, Jacksonville State lock is heading to Ruston, Louisiana to take on La Tech. Get out of here. Might be the best play of the whole weekend. Jacksonville State's laying 10.5 against this garbage La Tech team.
Tell me why this shouldn't be 20.5.
Yeah, I have no idea, but lay the 10.5.
I'm with you.
Double lock. Patty C, can we get a triple lock on your boy?
Has Louisiana Tech been playing a little better? A close loss on the road against Sam Houston, but the close win against UTEP and the close loss against New Mexico. Yeah, I'll join you. Triple lock this bad boy.
Let's go. Gamecocks minus 10.5. Let's go. All right, moving along. Arkansas State, Louisiana, 16.5 points. No. Give me Ark State plus 16.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Of course. I mean, look, I know Arkansas State's had some really bad blowout losses on the road to Texas State and to Iowa State. And I know Louisiana, we were all sleeping on them and they're just keep on winning games, but 16.5. I mean, I'm almost tempted to lock up Arkansas State, but at this point, I'll just take the points. I think Louisiana probably wins by like 10 or 13 or so.
Patty?
Louisiana, and let's be honest, Louisiana Lafayette kind of under the radar by a mile here. 7-1 with their only loss, an 8-point loss against Tulane. But who have they really beaten? No one of significance. I think this is just a couple too many points. I got to go with you guys, Arkansas State, to cover 16.5.
Patty C, check out the chat. Girth Brooks is saying, what's up to you?
Let me see. Hold on.
You see his photo there on the screen. He's saying, what's up to you?
Got that dog in him. Oh, shit. Oh, hello. Dude, your underarm hair is phenomenal.
Western Kentucky's heading to Las Cruces, take on New Mexico State. Western Kentucky, the tops, they're laying 18. I'll lay it. And I could be talking to a lock here, NC Nick. What are you doing here?
I don't like it as much as the other CUSA ones, but yes, I'm going to ride all three road favorites because there's just that wide of a gap between the top of the conference and the bottom. There's some really bad teams on the bottom. So I'm going to lay it also. I mean, I'm not going to like this one though. Nah.
Patty C, what are you doing here in Las Cruces?
Dude, New Mexico State has been very terrible. Western Michigan has proven to be explosive on
Western
offense.
Kentucky. Western
Or Western
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Sorry, what? Not Western Michigan. Western Kentucky has proven to be very explosive on offense. Obviously, that's a tradition that they've had for a long time. However, 18 points on the road on a long road trip is a little bit daunting. Still, I think Western Kentucky covers that. Give me the tops.
All right. I got a lock for you here, NC Nick. Maryland is playing in Eugene at Autzen. They're getting 25.5.
What are you doing?
This is going to be a 52-10 type game. Lay it with the Ducks. Maryland's fucking horrible. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm with you. I don't know if I'm gonna lock it up though. I mean, not 1 second did I even contemplate or consider taking Maryland. So I'm definitely on Oregon. I'm not gonna lock it up though. I guess. I mean, is Oregon maybe looking ahead to at Wisconsin? I mean, they have Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington to close out the season. It certainly looks like they're going undefeated. Maybe in Camp Randall. I mean, do you think Wisconsin has a chance next week?
Yeah, sure.
And then they have a bye, and then they at home against Washington. I don't know. Maybe they're looking ahead. You know, big win at Michigan. Maybe they kind of ease up off the gas. I know Tez Johnson, their best receivers out. I'm going to take Oregon, but I'm not going to bet it.
Big 2-point conversion attempt here for Central Michigan, down 10 with 150 left. They call timeout. Patty C, what are you doing here in Eugene?
Well, there's only one tuck job that I could find here, and that is their mutual opponent against Michigan State, where Maryland at home lost by 3, and Oregon at home won by 21. Does that make a 25.5 point difference from Maryland going on the road against Oregon? Look, Dylan Gabriel has been so electric that I think at home they're going to just keep running it up. I think the Heisman, push for him probably is the difference maker in Oregon covering this. So yeah, I'll take Oregon.
Mississippi State is heading to Knoxville, a series that goes back to 1907. Tennessee's laying 24. I actually struggle with this one a little bit. I'm going to lay the 24, but I don't feel good about it. Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm not going to lay the 24. I don't think I can lay 24 with that Tennessee offense against anybody in FBS football right now. So Mississippi State are, kind of another theme of this show is that year one head coaches where they're not good football teams, but they're trying hard for their coach. They're playing decent football, I guess. So give me the Bulldogs.
Part of my handicap, I was thinking like that at first. But then I was like, Labby coached under Heupel forever. Yeah. So I'm like, he's going to put the kibosh on that. They're going to be able to rehearse what Mississippi State wants to do offensively because they run that themselves. They're at home with the crowd behind them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Patty C, what are you doing here?
Let me convince Nick that the Tennessee offense against the Mississippi State defense isn't such a daunting matchup for the Tennessee offense. Number 10 overall offense for Tennessee. Number 128 total defense for Mississippi State. 24 points at home.
Wait. Tennessee's top 10. See, this is why I can't trust offensive numbers.
Why? Why can you not?
Have you watched their offense?
Did they bog down a little bit against what?
Every good team they played.
Oklahoma. Let's pull up their stats for me. I'm gonna try and get it.
While you pull that up, I'll tell you that Mississippi State is scoring in at least the 20s on everybody. That includes they only lost 41-31 at Georgia. The last 4 weeks they've been at least 24, 25 points.
Yeah, let me check their scoring offense versus their total offense. As I said, they're number 128 in total offense. Their scoring offense is 122. So not a whole lot better. Who else did they score big points against other than Georgia?
But my thing is just I don't think Tennessee. I would not like the fact that Tennessee is number 10 in the nation in offense tells me I can't ever put validation into those stats because they've been shitty on offense for like 5 weeks in a row.
You guys are probably right. So let me join you. I'll go Mississippi State to cover 24 against Tennessee.
I'm taking Tennessee.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, you're taking Tennessee to cover 24?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
be your own man. Make your own choice.
I am. I'll be my own man. I just rattled off some stats that suggested that Tennessee should be able to cover that. But it is SEC play, and you're right. The Mississippi State kept it way closer against Georgia than what Tennessee is favored by. So let me take Middle Tennessee Mississippi State to cover 24.
All right, Oklahoma State's at TCU. TCU's laying 10.5. Series goes back to 1915. Give me the Cowboys plus 10.5. I think they're live. This is anyone's game. Should be like a 1 point spread here. Should be TCU minus 1.5.
They are 0-6 in conference play, so Oklahoma State is due. Colby, maybe you were wrong. Maybe they don't start playing good in October. Maybe they start playing good in November. I agree. I'm not laying this many.
I feel like we should lock this
game. You want to lock it?
Yes.
I need a few more dogs in my card here. Let's go. Let's lock it.
Double lock on the Cowboys. Patty C, what are you doing here in Fort Worth at Almond G. Carter Stadium?
It's not so much that I think you guys are disrespecting TCU. I think it's that you're overrating the accomplishments of Oklahoma State, which what have they lost like 6 in a row now?
They covered a lot of those though.
Well, no, the spread is what? Sorry,
10.5.
10.5. No, I'm not going to do it. Fuck you both. In fact, I'm going to take TCU to cover. Fuck you.
Alrighty.
Fuck you both and your lock.
We're going to Tempe.
Oklahoma State is only 3-6 ATS, so they haven't covered. They covered a couple of them, but the
BYU and Baylor games, right?
They're due.
UCF, the very Golden Knights are heading to Tempe, Sun Devil Stadium, beautiful Sun Devil Stadium. Shout out to Venezia's Pizza in the Tempe, Phoenix area. Go check it out. Best pizza you can find in Arizona. Arizona State's laying 3. Series goes back to 2002. I'm going to lay the 3 with Arizona State, but I'm kind of intrigued by this game. I think is where UCF's been playing a little bit better, but I'm going to lay the 3 with Arizona State because Kenny Dillingham doing a hell of a good job. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I agree. Love it. Back healthy at quarterback, and also UCF has turned to true freshman from Delray Beach, Dylan Rizek, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not mistaken, where was their game last week? This is his first road trip in the desert too. I like Arizona State here. I could be talked into a lock.
Let's lock this too.
Let's go.
Double lock on the Sun Devils. Patty, see you coming?
No. Did you see what UCF did last week? The other team from Arizona, they just beat by 44.
That's another team that was supposed to be good in the Big 12 who sucks is Arizona.
That's true. That is true. Okay. But I still think they're better than Mississippi State. And I thought we saw them. Was it Arizona or Arizona State that beat Mississippi State? Arizona State, I think.
Look, it's just that Arizona, but it's only 3. I got to take Arizona State. I think you guys are right on that. It's borderline lock. All right, I'll do it. I'll join.
We got a triple lock here. You need a winner.
It's so few points. Fun? It's almost disrespectful to UCF. So I'll go Arizona State.
Triple lock on the Sun Devils. Let's go. All right. This is the biggest game of the week, Patty C. As much as Colorado, Texas Tech's an elimination game, this is an elimination game too. In Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly and his family are hosting the Alabama Crimson Tide in a rivalry that goes back to 1895. Bama's laying 3. I will take LSU. I like taking the home team in this spot. The chat is asking if I am watching this Central game. Of course we are. I'm going to lay the 3. I'm sorry. I'm going to take the 3 with LSU. I'm going to ride that money line. This game's going to be awesome to watch. I can't wait. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mentioned this stat when LSU was hosting Ole Miss a few weeks ago. At the time, Kelly was 12-0 at home night games at LSU. Now, of course, they're 13-0. Took a little bit of a miracle to come back and win that Ole Miss game. So that streak was almost snapped. But man, at night at home, LSU. I mean, Bama 0-2 on the road in SEC play so far. I'll go LSU and I'll lock them up.
I'm with you. Patty C, triple lock on these Tigers.
I hate to toot my own horn at times, but LSU to me is just the most predictable team in college football. I faded them when it came to the season opener against USC. USC hasn't been good all year, but I knew that scene was too much for LSU, and that USC with their hype would get over on them. And then I also knew that the letdown spot last week against, or what was it, 2 weeks ago against A&M would catch LSU. However, I do think that Kalen DeBoer has some major question marks, and Brian Kelly at home is going to get Alabama, so I will take LSU with you. And the fact that Bama's favored, yeah, I'll lock it with you. Triple lock this pitch up.
Now we're talking triple lock. Brian Kelly and his family. Let's go. All right, we're almost through this madness. Saudi Arabia State is heading to South Bend, Indiana. Take on the Irish. Notre Dame's laying 26. Lay it. Florida State's such a bullshit team. They're such a bullshit team that their fans are so fickle.
1-8 is absolutely hilarious. My favorite thing about this.
Yeah, it's the best development of the whole year. That said, I have to say it's way too many points even on the road. Even Florida State.
Did you watch them last week?
I'm gonna go FSU too.
Really? Did you guys watch them? They quit.
Dude,
they quit on their team.
I think they're better off on the road. Did you see the video of their fans absolutely berating them like at the home stadium?
I forget who I was mentioning this to, but it's absolutely hilarious that ACC changed their rules so as to give more money to teams that do well, because Florida State and Clemson were complaining. As soon as that happens, Florida State sucks. So now they're making even less money than they were before they wanted, more money for doing well.
That is great. And Clemson potentially too.
Dude, yeah. Miami coming up and Florida State and Clemson dropping off is exactly what a sustainable ACC needed. It can't be more perfect right now.
The best part is SMU is going to reap the benefits.
Step right in and hey, we're going to dominate everyone.
Do they get the money though? Because
I don't even know. I know that I thought they didn't want the TV money, but I think
they got to wait 7 years to get any kind of money.
I think the performance money they can get because it's the performance money.
Yeah.
That's
hilarious. Still a little fucking blip on the radar in terms of
you let SMU go to the ACC championship, let alone the college football playoffs. But to me, they get to the ACC championship. They are only going to throw double the amount of money that they threw in this past year.
And not only from a donor standpoint, is an immediate standpoint, but long term, they are playing a much longer game than the 7 years that they have to give up their TV rights money. It's like, SMU thinks they're Texas A&M, right?
Well, they can be if they want to.
Yeah, they're a little bit of a breath of fresh air too. Like on Twitter, their fans, like they're so happy to be in a major conference. They're happy to be in the ACC. They're the opposite of the Florida State bitch ass fans.
Yeah. And how about this? Did you guys think about this? If BYU wins the Big 12, which they're favored to right now, and if SMU, which they're favored to get to the ACC championship, beats Miami, you will have your first round buys 2 teams that were in the group of 5 3 years ago.
Wow.
That's what it was supposed to look like.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Oklahoma, Missouri, old school rivalry game goes back to 1902. Oklahoma's laying 3 in Columbia. What? I mean, I know Missouri sucks, but so does Oklahoma. Give me Missouri in the points. This stinks a little bit. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Oh man, this is one where Both teams are not very good. I'm going to take the home team also. But again, I don't know if anybody has a really strong feel on this one.
Patty?
I feel like there's maybe a little bit of a short-term bias in terms of Oklahoma getting right against Maine last week. However, against Missouri on the road, I feel like they should not be favored. So I'm going to take the Tigers.
Yeah. Only a few more left. Nevada in Boise. Series goes back to 1971. Boise's laying 24. Give me the 20.
At a glance. Wait, you're going to take it?
I'm going to take it. Choate used to be with Chris Peterson at Boise. All right.
No. The team's motivations are completely different. Nevada, at best, is trying to salvage a respectable season. Meanwhile, Boise is trying to style point themselves into a playoff. Give me Boise. Sorry to completely interrupt you.
You're good. Nick?
I agree with Patty. I got a little cute last week thinking maybe San Diego State can cover. Nah, I'm just going to go with the far superior team.
All right. Washington's heading to State College. Series goes back to 1921. All the fans are booing the shit out of James Franklin. He's giving them shit back.
They're literally so close to being the best team in the country. 1 yard away.
Penn State's laying 13. I know it's chalky. I'm going to lay the 13. I just think Washington's, they played since 1921. They played like 3 or 4 times, but I don't think they've ever played in State College. So I just think Penn State's momentum with that crowd behind there, they can't afford, another loss. Maybe they could. It depends. But
the loss isn't really the thing that we're considering here. It's the spread, and it's
that's what I'm saying. Is that's
and
why
it's Penn State, the type of team that's going to cover 13 against a decent Washington team.
I think they will.
I am with Dundee here. The bounce back spot for Penn State, coupled with Washington being awful on the road this year. They have a loss to a bad Rutgers team in Jersey, a 14-point loss at Indiana, a 24-point loss at Iowa. I'm on Penn State here. I'll lock it up with Colby.
Well, I wasn't locking it.
Oh, well I'm going to lock it.
See, Nick, lock it up, the Nittany Lions.
I'm with Barry McCockiner.
Doctor. Patty?
I will say you do make a decent point about the road trips not being particularly fruitful for Washington. Coming off a win against USC on homecoming, maybe they are primed for a letdown. What was it, 13? All right, I'll go with you guys. I'll go with Penn State.
All right, Virginia, the Wahoos are heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Pitt Panthers. This game goes back to 1953. Pitt's laying 7.5. Kind of struggle with this one. I think I sided on I'm going to lay it. I think Pitt, the way they got beat down last week, I think they get that big dub. They win. Give me like a 31-17 type of game here. NC Nick, what are you doing here at that Heinz acupuncture shit?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to take the points here. It's like a 3-4 point game.
Wrong, both of you. Wrong. Virginia on the money line. They're wearing the 1990 uniforms with the white cap, white jerseys, and orange pants. Swagged out. Swag the fuck out. The fact that you got the hook here, easy peasy. Give me Virginia. Lock.
Oh, Patty C locking up the Wahoo.
Surprising locks that show.
Is that 9%? That 9% locking up a few of those.
Just having
fun. UNLV is heading to the island where
It's hard to get to Hawaii. It's not paradise all the time.
UNLV's laying 13.5. Hawaii's going to cover this game. UNLV wins. Give me like a 35-31 type of game. NC Nick, what are you doing here in this series that dates back to 1969?
Hawaii's won a couple in a row now. They're a couple more and they'll be bowl eligible, but UNLV's a far superior team. They're coming off a bye, and before that, they lost that close game to Boise. They want to make a statement here. I'm going to go UNLV.
Patty?
Hawaii has a surprisingly better defense than UNLV, but UNLV's offense is so much better. The long trip to the island, actually, I'm going to go Hawaii. It is a hard trip to Hawaii.
Let's go. Fresno State's heading to Colorado Springs. Fresno State's lay at 11. I'll lay it just because Air Force don't feel good about this one though. I mean, I just slightly teeter towards Fresno State. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, Fresno State's just not that good. I wonder if what's my guy's name again?
Tim Skipper's not.
Yeah, I was saying Danny Dollar, Tim Skipper.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's cutting it, but at the same time, Air Force is trash. Give me Fresno.
Yeah, Patty, what are you doing here?
My only question is, I'm not going to pull up the stats here, but Air Force did particularly well against Navy in terms of covering.
Army.
Yeah. Army, rather. Sorry. Granted, they didn't have their starting quarterback. For Fresno, equally as much of a gimmick team. And so I don't know if it's Air Force being able to deal with gimmick teams particularly well, or if it's just the triple option. Fresno being a different kind of gimmick altogether with the Air Force. Or with the air raid rather. So I'm going to take Air Force or Fresno to cover 11, even on the road. So give me the Bulldogs.
All right, folks. What to tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps with bettors at all levels. The ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. You could build your own model like I do. And Rhythm will build around that, or you can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has a slew of stats, research, trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. Claim your 7-day free trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. That is BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. East Carolina will bring you home on Thursday night. Let's go. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook. All right, we are back. Final one here. We got a couple left here, and boy, do we got a heater. And this is a perfect example, folks, of why. So BYU and Utah haven't been in the same conference in like 20 years, 15 years, whatever it is. And they did like the non-con, like the backyard brawdos, like week 2, they did that some like 5 years ago. And those games were good, just like the backyard brawl games are good. But there's a reason why you need to be in the same conference and you need to play them in November. It's because this moment right here.
Yep.
BYU is undefeated, thinking college football playoffs, thinking first national championship since 1984. And they got to go into Salt Lake City against a Utah team that's just been, the OC steps down. Cam Rising's out. They've been banged up. You know how Utah can salvage their season? By ruining their arch rival's season.
I have to say this.
What's that?
As much as LSU versus Alabama is your traditional, one team has the potential to go 10-2, the other team getting knocked out of the playoff at 9-3, and it's your elimination game in the new college football playoff world. Also, BYU is projected to be eliminated if they don't win out and go 13-0, which I find to be ridiculous. But the fact that they're going on the road to play their arch rival, right? Who is starting Isaac, what's his name?
Wilson.
Isaac Wilson, Zach Wilson's brother. This is the bigger game. This is where college game day should be this week.
Simon says BYU's in despite whatever Holy War shit. You're crazy. What are you talking about? I mean, I wish that were the case.
Unless they win the Big 12 and,
Yeah, but they might not even play in the Big 12 championship if they lose this
game.
I
think they should be. I think BYU should be. If they go 12-0, right? And then they lose to whoever, Colorado, Kansas State, Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game. If they're 12-1, it it is a travesty if they are not in the cup.
Oh, of course. But I'm saying right now, if they lose this game, they might not even play in the Big 12 championship.
If they go 11-2, it's very questionable.
They'd have to lose 2, Colby.
Why is that?
Well, if you look at, oh no, I'm sorry, you're right. I was looking at.
Yeah, because I'm like Colorado and Iowa State can play. Yeah,
you're right. Now, what the tiebreaker would be? Because neither of those teams have played each other, right?
But Colorado's ranked at number 20. So if BYU loses this, Colorado can surpass them ranking wise. Same with Iowa State.
You're right.
And I'm on Utah, guys.
Yeah,
Kyle,
got to. This is our Super Bowl.
Yeah, Kalani Sitake used to coach under Kyle Whittingham. BYU's defense coordinator Jay Hill used to coach under Kyle Whittingham. The student can't fuck with the teacher. Lock up these youths. Let's go. This game's awesome. And this, by the way,
a lot of points on the road.
This is a true hatred rivalry too. One of the Egg Bowl, the whole the backyard brawl. This criminally slept on, and then when you add in the fact that BYU tried to block Utah from coming into the Big 12, it makes it even better. It makes it even better.
It's a total Super Bowl game for Utah. Nothing else to play for this entire year. Even if they win out and they go, I guess they could go 8-4, right? But it doesn't matter. They're not interested in some mediocre bowl game. The only thing they can do to salvage the season is to beat BYU. Meanwhile, does BYU want to go into Salt Lake City right now? No.
Yeah,
they have their sights set on a Big 12 championship game, a playoff. They just saw that they're in the rankings. They're in the field right now. It's a perfect spot.
And I would push back so much on trick or treat here. It's like 20 minutes from each other. This isn't even a road game. No, dude, Utah fans. Whenever these two teams play, the home field is gigantic.
Yeah, the advantage.
I feel like the hostility
is not the travel environment.
Yeah. Are we triple locking this, Patty?
4 points seems like a lot. So I don't know. Utah hasn't played that well, and BYU has played that well. So is that enough just on the rivalry alone to triple lock it? I'm leaning toward yes. I'm cocking toward yes. So yes, I'll lock it. Will you?
I am locking it. NC Nick is locking it. We have a triple lock on Utah Utes +4. Fantastic game. This is a great game for year one in the Big 12. All right, it just worked out perfect schedule wise that this was in Salt Lake City, despite Utah being kind of a dud. Triple lock on the Utes. All right, and we have the nightcap. Washington State's laying 20.5 in a series that goes back to 1949 as Utah State. The Aggies are coming into Martin Stadium. I'm going to lay it. Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I agree. Utah State's a mess. In Pullman, Wazoo's got a lot to play for to move up those rankings, right? So, give me the Cougs.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
Absolutely. Wazoo has the potential to finish 11-1, and style points are their only option to move up in the rankings. So you got to go Wazoo to run that shit up. Give me the Cougars.
I am tempted, all right, to lock this thing because I think Washington State being disrespected in the rankings, like they might have to pull out some style points here, but I don't know. Maybe stick around, check out the rest of the week's shows, and remember sportsgamblingpodcast.com.
Let's play real quick.
You could find our picks, our locks there. Not only our locks, our picks for every single game on the picks page. Top play of the whole week, or your top couple plays.
Top three. Okay.
Yeah. I will say if I had to power rank these, number one for me, Vanderbilt's got to be in there.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's in there. I am going to put the Oregon Ducks in there.
Ooh.
And then for the third play and final play for me, I do think it's Arizona State. Let's go.
I'll say Vandy, Jacksonville State.
Ooh, Jacksonville State. You're right. We're delete Arizona State, add Jacksonville State.
And Utah.
Patty C, you got a top three?
I'm looking at it. I'm
Jacksonville
gonna say,
State's got to be in there.
Who are the Jacksonville State is against Louisiana Tech. That game is what 10.5 spread in Jacksonville State's favorite. Probably. Your guys are probably right, but that's not in my top plays. I don't think. You know, my top plays are Florida plus 21.5 against Texas. Army minus 5.5 against North Texas.
Yeah.
And let's get one more. Liberty minus 11 against Middle Tennessee.
Oh, I do like that one too. All right, giving us $20. Appreciate you. All right, his top three are Jacksonville State, Oregon, and Boise State. Let's go. Shout out to Moneyline Mac, who also hit both of his MACtion plays right now. Is Miami, Ohio has a 6-point lead with 1 minute and 26 seconds left. And Ball State is driving. MACtion is back, baby. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. As much as it's cool to have Conference USA on the weekdays, and I encourage more of that, MACtion better than Conference USA weekday.
They're the OGs of Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Boom.
Let's go. Folks, give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nicks on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Noah Beanick is on Twitter at NoahB77. Give him a follow. Shout out to Noah behind the scenes. And remember, myself, Noah Beanick, Moneyline Mac, College Basketball Experience coming right up. So just jump on over there. We got college hoops to talk about every single game in the land. Don't forget that we're back to the normal schedule. We're going to have DFS episodes. We're going to have the bottom line or the bombs down under from CJ Sullivan, myself. The FCS College Experience is back as well. Sorry, was moving in the middle of all of this. And don't forget the pregame show Saturday morning. Also check out the College Baseball Experience and the Sports Gambling Podcast. Till next time, folks, this is the College Football Experience Week 11 preview and pick style. And you better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.